shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA Club World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Did you know that your windows and doors are your main source of energy loss? At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, our windows with triple weather stripping and gasket seals are up to 25% more efficient than Energy Star standards. LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
Discover one of the new inventions in home comfort with mini split systems from Home Comfort Alliance. Enjoy efficient heating and cooling, saving energy and reducing utility bills. Call now for a free consultation and get 18 months same as cash financing. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners bounced back in a big way, completing a sweep of the Padres. Now they're off to the south side to play the White Sox. First pitch is at 4:40. The NBA Conference Finals are set. In the West, OKC takes on Minnesota, and in the East, the Knicks are facing the Pacers. And Scotty Scheffler wins his 3rd major this weekend at Quail Hollow after posting an even round of 71 to win by 5 strokes.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross. Here we go now.
All right, we are joined now by ESPN baseball writer David Schoenfield. David, how are we doing today?
Pretty good, guys. How are things out in the Emerald City?
You know, it's series by series, week by week for us, David. Last week, we're trying not to hit the panic button, and we know better than that. We've been through this before. The Mariners lose 5 out of 6. They got swept by Toronto. Then the Yankees come into town and do their thing, but then they go on the road, and all seems well down in sunny Southern California. What do you attribute to the sweep we just saw?
Yeah, that's baseball, right? I mean, every series feels, like momentum is at stake, even though we know deep down it's a long season. But, yeah, good recovery, right? Going down to San Diego, beating, a really good Padres team on the road. That's a big, big win considering what had just happened. So the pitching, that was the big surprise, right? With all the injuries in the rotation right now, the pitching stepped up and did the job.
David, you mentioned the surprise of the Mariners pitching actually stepping up, which is something that none of us, I think, anticipated before the season. The starting pitching injuries have piled up, and just the guys who are left haven't necessarily been nearly as effective outside of Brian Wu. What has been a bigger surprise to you with this Mariners team? The way the pitching staff has just kind of been held together by Band-Aids and by gum, or how the offense has been pretty respectable in how they've been putting up runs?
Yeah, I mean, look, the offense, 7th in runs per game, certainly a surprise. I do always like to point out that, that home part kills their offense. So the offense is always a little better, than we always believe. But the pitching, to me, I'm going to say that's a little bigger surprise, just because my concern, or one of my concerns heading into the year, was the lack of depth. Both, we knew if the rotation was healthy, those top 5 guys were going to be really good, but not a lot of depth behind them. And then the bullpen, kind of the same thing. You got an elite closer in Andres Munoz, but who else exactly was going to step up? So, so far, I mean, Emerson Hancock, I know that ERA is 6.21. That he had that really bad start, his first start of the year, but he's been okay. He's kept him in games. Logan Evans, he's come up, and he's okay. He's kept him in games. 2.57 ERA. So that's been a surprise. And the bullpen, I mean, look, Munoz, of course, no earned runs on the year. He's been the key. But the setup guys, they're not flashy, but they've gotten the job done. And I don't remember any, late game blowing leads. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 in there in the 8th inning or something. But the bullpen has held its own. So that's been I'd say that's my surprise.
Hey, David, going into this these last 6 games, right, we were coming off of a series win against the A's, and we looked at Toronto and assumed things will be fine there. Obviously, we know what happened there. But then I was looking at this next 6 games and say, we're going to learn a lot about this team, right? You got the Yankees coming into town with the best hitter on the planet, apparently, right now with Aaron Judge. And then you have a nice rotation you're going to see with the Padres. And it's almost we got the tale of 2 different teams, right? We got a team that was struggling to produce runs and on the mound a bit with the Yankees. But then you got a complete kind of team win, or 3 wins with the Padres. What did we learn about this team? Because obviously the Yankees are who they are and the Padres are a good ball club. Who are the Mariners after these last 6 games?
Yeah, I mean, they certainly showed some mental toughness. I go back to that middle game of the Yankee series when the Yankees tied it with a run in the 9th. And then Seattle, came back and won it in the 11th. And those extra inning games, they're always a crapshoot. You're getting into the deep part of the bullpen. Even though they lost the next day, I felt like getting 1 from the Yankees was huge. And, kind of created a little lift going into San Diego. Then, hey, you go down there and you give up 1 run, and 1 run. That's just amazing against an offense that's been above average for the Padres. So, yeah, just some good toughness there.
David, we are a week away from Memorial Day, which a lot of people kind of use as a marker for being able to kind of read more into how good or how bad a team is. What do you kind of, what date on the calendar or how far into the season do you kind of look at and say, I know what this kind of team is. I know that this is a good team. I know this is a bad team.
Yeah, that's kind of what front office people say. Really, right now, that quarter point of the year, we're kind of just a few games past that. That kind of gives you a read on, your health to the year, or they aren't able to come back. You're probably going to be looking at starting pitching help. If they're healthy, okay, maybe you add to the bullpen. Maybe there's not a lot out there on the offensive side. It's mostly going to be seeing what kind of pitching is out there. So we'll see. The next few weeks, to me, it's all about the health of those starting pitchers.
Hey, we had concerns with first base, right? What type of production are you going to get out of first base? And it seems like as of late, Rowdy's looking pretty good. I was talking to Curtis before we came on, and it's like, as long as he hits bombs, I'll be okay. Kind of like a Cal kind of profile. How's Rowdy been able to contribute to the project as of late?
Yeah, I was just walking my dogs before the call, and I go, I bet they're going to ask me about Rowdy Tellez. What am I going to say? Look, his overall line on the year, it's not great. 202 average, 259 on base. That's not going to cut it from your first baseman, even with an occasional home run. But now he's been better, obviously, lately. But you look at his career, and that's kind of what his career is. He's a low on base guy. He'll pop an occasional home run. Not a good defender. That obviously doesn't give you much on the bases. Is he the long-term solution over the season? They don't have any other options right now. I don't think there's going to be anybody out there in the trade market. The bad teams like the Rockies, the White Sox, they don't have anybody to trade, so you're not going to get a first baseman. So he's going to have to hit. Maybe Luke Raley ends up there in the long run when he's back. Again, Tellez, he has a track record. He's not great. But, you never want to undersell a guy either. He's been getting some clutch hits lately.
I know there are a lot of people that are kind of like, well, how good can he be over the course of 162? But
right.
Do you think that, ultimately his value with this team, even after a guy like Luke Raley comes back who can give you some good games at first base, like how much value is there in having a guy on your bench that can just simply go hit a home run whenever you feel like it, regardless of what the sabermetrics say, regardless of what he is defensively? How valuable is it to have a bat on your bench that can just go yard when the moment calls for it?
Yeah, no doubt. And, do some DHing. Look, obviously the Mariners, we all have seen some of their weak spots off the bench in recent years, right? Look across baseball. Every team has 3 or 4 or 5 guys hitting under 200. So it's hard to hit. And, hey, look, Rowdy hit 35 home runs back in 2022. So I'm not saying he's not capable of doing that. I think as a platoon bench guy, I like that kind of guy on a roster. But expecting him to be like a key middle of the order bat, I'm just not banking on that.
Hey, so last year we know this staff was great when it came to just getting deep into games, right, and allowing that bullpen to relax a little bit. This year, not so much. Only 16 quality starts, about 15th or 16th in MLB. But then you also have to look at the injuries that they've had, right? Kirby's been banged up. Logan's been banged up. So you don't expect these young guys to typically go deep into the game. Is that something you're concerned about, or do you think that, once the big dogs are healthy, we'll kind of see a bit of a shift there and help this bullpen out?
Yeah, certainly huge concern across the whole sport, overusing your bullpens. But I think Dan Wilson, pretty good. I'm looking at the innings pitch totals on the relievers, and nobody's really getting overworked. Munoz 20 innings in 45 games, so that's about a 70 inning pace. That's about what you look for from your closer. Bizzardo, most innings out of the bullpen, 23, but he's a 29-year-old guy. You're not really worried about, overusing a guy like that. So they've been pretty good about, not overusing those guys. Again, that means you're using all 7, 8 relievers, and at some point you need all of them to step up, because at some point they're going to be in there in high leverage moments. And again, they seem to have performed their best in those high leverage situations.
David, the American League has been really hard to figure out through the season's first month and a half. The Mariners are in first place. The Tigers, starting to put some distance between themselves and the rest of the American League Central. But, obviously they've got they don't have necessarily a complete roster right now. The Yankees are very talented. Who are you looking at in the American League right now as like the standout team? Is there anybody right now that has gripped your attention more than anybody else?
Yeah, I was working on a piece for tomorrow, and actually I was looking at the Tigers, and I was surprised at how well-rounded they've been. One, you got an ace, maybe the best pitcher in the league, Seattle University's Tarek Skubal. He's doing it again. But their offense is way better. Last year they were next to last in the majors in on-base percentage, and this year I think they're up to 6th. I don't know if they can maintain that, but their lineup much deeper than last year. I think they're absolutely legit. Great manager in A.J. Hinch. And the Yankees, I think they're legit. You got Aaron Judge. That alone, almost makes them a playoff team. Max Fried's been terrific this year. They're getting some surprise performances. Trent Grisham, Paul Goldschmidt, guys you didn't expect to be hitting this well. But outside of those two teams, there's a reason Seattle's the third best record because they've been the third best team in the American League. It's a total crapshoot. Houston, Texas, they're both kind of struggling to score runs. The Twins just had this, unbelievable, 13-game winning streak. Cleveland, I'm not buying them at all. And the Red Sox, who I thought might be pretty good, haven't been as good at 23-25. So I see New York, Detroit in the playoffs. I don't know about the other 4 playoff teams.
Hey, you mentioned that the end of this week is probably a good time to start profiling teams and saying, okay, this is who I think they are. The last 2 seasons going into, the start of the regular season, we're hearing about the Mariners wanting to be a contact kind of team. Now, they're hitting the ball hard. You got a couple guys with a over 50% hard hit rate. But we're up there in bombs. And what we were told and what we're seeing are 2 different things. So you think the staff is shifting their philosophy, or their philosophy is allowing these guys to swing free and hit all these bombs?
Look, you got to hit home runs in this day and age, just because batting averages across the sport are so low. It's just too hard to put together those rallies of single, double, single, So you got to hit home runs. Now, I think they're 23rd in strikeouts, which, hey, it's better than 30th, right? Weren't they last a year ago? So a little better contact, I was just noticing like Jorge Polanco, his contact rate is much better. This Leo Rivas, he has no power, but he's getting on base. He puts the ball in play. Maybe he ends up, I like his glove at second base too. I'd kind of just give him a run at second base, see what he can do. So J.P. Crawford is back to where he was 2 years ago. So, look, it's the trade-off, right? To hit home runs, you're going to strike out. Yeah, you would prefer to be the Dodgers, and have home runs and put the ball in play. But, hey, it's a better lineup than last year so far. I guess we'll take that.
David, big news in baseball over the weekend was the firing of Brandon Hyde as Orioles manager. A couple of weeks ago, you wrote just kind of about the volatility of a lot of these teams that have relied upon young talent over the years. What do you think is the biggest cause for Baltimore's complete fall off a cliff here to start the 2025 season? Was it Hyde? Was it the young players? Was it an off season of inactivity? What do you think was the biggest reason for why the Orioles find themselves here?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys will agree. It's completely shocking, and that's kind of what my piece showed, was there hasn't really been a comparable example of a good playoff team with a young roster just completely falling apart like this. Like you look with their off season, everybody knew they needed the starting pitcher, right? They signed Charlie Morton, who's 40 years old. He's been terrible. They signed Kyle Gibson. They just released him. He was terrible. So their rotation's been a mess. They've had some injuries, Grayson Rodriguez is kind of their young top pitcher. He's missed all year. So yeah, a lot of injuries, but their position players too. Some injuries there, but Adley Rutschman, this guy was supposed to be like an MVP kind of player, when he first came up, and he's been a really good player, but since the middle of last year, he just hasn't hit. I was looking at his numbers. I can't figure out what's going on there. Like, he has a great eye, puts the ball in play, but low average, not much power. So him not being what they thought has been a huge blow. And Gunnar Henderson, got off to a bad start. But yeah, they look 15-30. They look like they're out of it, right?
Yeah, they do, and it looks like the Mariners are moving in the right direction. But like you said, man, it's baseball, lots of games to be played, and as usual, David, man, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
All right, guys, thanks a lot.
Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down to you, Bump. What was a clip circling on social media this weekend that had you pulling your hair out? Now, mind you, you don't have hair, but what had you pulling your hair out?
I'm follically challenged. Okay, that's a term we use in 2025. But now I'm watching, we're on X. This is what we do. A lot of what we do is on X, and we're looking at what's going down, who's saying what. What are we going to talk about on Monday? And I kept seeing a clip of Travis Hunter running routes. And he runs an out route, so he's going like 10 yards, and he's rolling it to about 11 or 12. He stumbles a little bit coming out of that. Then he runs a curl route, gets about 14, coming back to 12, and not the strongest getting out of that route. Then I saw a dig. He gets to about 10 to 12 yards. He squares that in. And people are critiquing these routes. They are saying, this is the number 2 pick in the draft. What are you talking about? And I'm looking at the film, and I'm saying, if you don't see the athleticism in this young man, that once he gets coached up, he's going to be good, you are tripping. But this is one of the curses of playing both sides of the ball. He didn't have the time in college to really try to perfect his route running. He was such a better athlete than anybody who lined up against him that he was able to have okay routes and get open. If I'm the wideouts coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm so encouraged after looking at the practice film of his mini camps and OTAs or whatnot, because he can get in and out of breaks and he has good hands. When I see receivers stumbling out of their breaks, if they're stumbling forward, I love it. That means their weight is forward, they're going in the right direction. If they are slipping backwards, that means there's no commitment to their route running. So I saw the stumble, it did not alarm me. I saw the curl, it didn't alarm me, because he's strong enough and athletic enough to fix those things. Can he catch a football? We know he can do that. And I saw people's comments, and I'm like, man, y'all wild. If you don't see the potential in this young man, you're tripping. Turn the film off.
Second down. All right, Bump. 2028, the Olympics are in Los Angeles. Going to include flag football. So what will we find out pretty soon when it comes to that sport in Olympic play?
All right, so before they go to the Olympics, the U.S. men's flag team has some competition to take care of. There's 12 players on this roster right now. So they're playing in the 2025 IFAF America's Continental Flag Football Championships in Panama. Let me know when you recognize the name. Amari Brown, Felton Brown Jr., Isaiah Cohan, Nico Casares, Mike Daniels, Rush Laval Davis, Tyler Davis, Daryl Duchette, Dejon High, Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy?
Jamie Kennedy.
From Malibu's Most Wanted?
There you go. Jamie Kennedy and Sean Thread Jr. I don't know any of these guys. I think I know the quarterback because he's the one who's making the big fuss about that, Daryl Hoosh Dorsett III. But listen, we're going to find out exactly what needs to be done. Because in this tournament, you got Australia, Canada, Germany, Israel, and Japan. Come on now. The only team that I'm kind of worried about is Canada because they play football up there, Canadian rules. Australia, I feel like they got some football in them because of rugby. Germany, I don't believe you. Israel, I don't believe you. Japan, I saw a Japan tackle team beat a U.S. tackle team at a lower level. Listen, we're going to find out real quick what needs to be done with this U.S. flag football team. I hope there are some guys already on the team that they keep around. They're that good. But for the most part, man, I think we're going to find the need for these NFL players to suit up.
Third down. All right, Bump, we've talked a lot about Brock Purdy and his new contract. So what should expectations be for him now that he's getting paid?
Brock Purdy's best year, 2023, completed 69% of his passes, 4,200 yards, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Sam Darnold's best year last year, 4,300 yards got you there, 35 touchdowns got you there, 12 interceptions, one more than Brock Purdy. He's got to at least have a Sam Darnold type of year. And that's what makes this whole thing weird, is that Sam Darnold has put together 1 year better than Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has been a full-time starter for 2 years prior to this, and he's not being paid because of how we view him prior to this. I get it. I understand that. But for Brock Purdy to be paid $53 million a year, 4,200 yards, 31 touchdowns is bare minimum. Those guys who are getting paid 50 and beyond need to put up 30 and at least 4,000. That is the bare minimum. He needs to have he doesn't even have a season better than what Sam Darnold did last year. You just duplicate what you did in 2023. You must make the playoffs. You must win a playoff game. But we all know that it don't always happen like that at the quarterback spot, no matter what you're being paid. But if I'm paying the Niners, I'm saying, look, we need 2023 Purdy out of you. We need to compete for the division. I think the Rams got that there. You need to make the playoffs and win a playoff game. If not, it's a bust.
4th down. All right, Bump. Interesting question here. Who is the Deion Sanders of the South and why?
Deion Sanders of the South. When Deion went to Colorado, everybody paid attention. The spring game sold out. Celebrities on the sideline. It was almost like USC back when Pete Carroll was running the show over there. You got to go to North Carolina. North Carolina is now, or Bill Belichick is now the Deion of the South. Okay, he's in the tabloids. He's got his girl out there. She's running things. They already sold out of season tickets. 20,000 season tickets have been sold out. There's been a 25% increase in those tickets. No push at all. They got more primetime games this year, but they have to keep them through June, because if he decides to leave Belichick before June, then he only has to pay $1 million back of $10 million that was promised to him. If he stays, alumni are going to show up. Sidelines are not going to be as crazy as Colorado, because Bill Belichick's old school. He don't want all these rappers and actors on the sideline, okay? But maybe pregame and postgame is going to be different. He has the opportunity to get so many eyes on North Carolina football the same way Deion did for Colorado. But here's the difference. Last year, North Carolina was 6-6, not a bad record. Before that, 8-4. Before that, 9-4. So they've been winning the last few years, right? You have more talent over there, so to speak. But he can be the Deion of the South. More primetime games, eyes on these guys. I'm sure spring game is going to be sold out, or was sold out. Let's see what happens there. All right.
That's 4 downs.
That's 4 down territory. All right. No, Stacy, you got the Dad Podcast today. Me, Michael Bumpers, with my guy, Curtis Rogers. When we come back, it is time to hit the timeline. We're going to talk about the Vetter Cup. That's an interesting one. JP has some words. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese get into it. We got lots more to do here on the Bump and Stacy show. We got Curtis Rogers filling in.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious if they're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. You know, those 2 games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett, or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
We know finding a company to trust with your home is a big decision, and one we look forward to earning with incredible service, top quality products, and lifetime warranties. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Our windows are feature-rich with our sound package that reduces noise by 50%, clean glass technology, and added protection with our exclusive First Guard 3-layer security glass. Learn more about all of these features at lakewashingtonwindows.com. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
The first Mariners fireworks night is coming up, and we're starting things off with a bang. Be here on Friday, May 30th for our K-Pop fireworks show, presented by T-Mobile after the team takes on the Twins at 7:10.
Jorge Polanco, his second home run of the night. He is absolutely on fire.
Get ready for an epic dance party as we light up the sky with a post-game show powered by the biggest global hits. Visit Mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets today.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use. Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $2,500 off an energy-efficient Bryan cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It's The Timeline on the Bump and Stacy show. We got Curtis Rogers filling in for Stacy. It's time to do it. Let's get right into it. This first one. So, Curtis, this is the first official Vetter Cup that was played, correct?
Boy, I mean, pre-Vetter Cup, post-Vetter Cup, the world will never be the same.
Never be the same. This is like, it changes culture.
It is. This is the first official one. It was joked about in years past, but now it's for real.
It's for real. And the players know it's for real. Let's hear what J.P. Crawford had to say about this situation, what his favorite Pearl Jam song is.
You take the first game of the Vetter Cup. What's your favorite Pearl Jam song?
It's that one that they sing. You know, that goes like, yeah, that one.
That one. All right, JP, thanks so much.
Now listen, I listen to everything.
Right.
If you were to go into my playlist, I'm bouncing around. I probably got most genres covered. Mm-hmm. I know some Pearl Jam songs,
yeah,
but I can't tell you the name off top. So I feel like JP. If you played a song for JP, he would know it. Like, oh yeah, I know that song.
Yeah, Even Flow is the only one that I can spot from a mile away. All the others, I mean, I'm not gonna hate on Pearl Jam. I I know that they are a very important band, especially in Seattle's music history. But
of course,
like I'm kind of right there with JP because like I'm 34. When Pearl Jam was in their heyday, I was probably in diapers at the time, and I can't get into it the way that people who grew up around that time are diehards for that band.
Yeah, it's kind of like when my kids listen. Like I listen to my music. I was listening to my music on the ride home from my daughter's game, and my son like giggles a little bit at a song. I go, what you laughing at? I'm like, oh, this is such a bad song. I go, this is a classic, son. You know what's bad? All the hippity-hoppity,
all the mumble rap
dippity-doobity that you listen to these days. So don't you hate. So listen, we're not hating on Pearl Jam. You played me several Pearl Jam songs. I would know some of the words to it. I just don't know the names off the top of my head. So, you know, I feel like me and JP, we're on the same page. But, you know who does know Pearl Jam? Am's pitching coach, Pete Woodward.
Lastly, Pete, you're a big music guy, 3-0 in the Vetter Cup. This is what it's all about, right? You want that guitar.
I do, and that was all our pitcher meeting was before the series was, I don't care what you guys do, we need to win this guitar.
Pete, hopefully they get you the guitar. Thank you.
Hey, Pete wants that thing in the man cave. He wants that thing in the man cave. Well, they won the guitar, so let Pete have it for a little bit.
I don't think they've clinched it yet. They just got to win one more series against the Padres to get that guitar officially to have it throughout the offseason.
Let's get it to Pete, man.
Pete Woodworth wanted that in the worst way possible. Credit to Brady Robick for being able to catch that just in time. Didn't go out over the air, I believe, unless I think he got it. So shout out to Brady Robick for being able to get the dump button ready. But, yeah, Pete Woodworth, he is clearly a Pearl Jam fan, to the point where he had to cuss about it on live radio. I don't think he thought it was live, which I think understands why he has the bleeped out sound effect right there. But credit to him for at least putting it out there, being like, no, this matters.
It matters.
To me, at least.
That's how you get the people going. We're going to transition to the WNBA, arguably the two biggest names in the game, maybe not the two best in the game. One of them are for sure. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese exchanged hard fouls and words in the WNBA season opener. Here's Caitlin Clark when asked about her flagrant foul on Angel Reese.
Caitlin, I saw you having a long conversation with the official. Walk me through your perspective on the flagrant foul, and what was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, you know? If either Angel gets wide open 2 points or, you know, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
Why are they blowing this up? It was a hard foul.
Yeah, I didn't see any. I didn't think it was a flagrant either.
No. It was.
She just impeded her clear path to the basket.
It's because of who it was that made it a flagrant, and the way people responded. The thing I don't like about the way Angel Reese responded is that she's been fouled harder than that by other women and have done absolutely nothing. But because it is one of the faces of the league, Caitlin Clark, a girl who outshined you last year, is a better overall basketball player, and you feel she's taking your shine, you're going to get all mad about it. You ain't going to do nothing. WNBA players are like NBA players at the same time. You act like you want to fight. You don't really want to fight. You're not about that life.
They're not going to throw hands.
Not going to throw hands.
I just think that we don't need to be in a place where everything these two do warrants a think piece, warrants a long form New Yorker magazine. You know, this is what this actually means. It's like, just let him play.
Read between the lines.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hard fouls happen all the time in the NBA. Like, you don't see think pieces about like what Dylan Brooks, what he really meant when he fouled LeBron James. It's like, no, he just didn't like him.
Yeah.
Like, these two have a history. I get that they try to downplay the rivalry between the two, which, to your point, Bump, I mean, Angel Reese probably not to the same skill level that Caitlin Clark is.
Nowhere near.
But, like, these two are always going to be mentioned in the same breath because of, like, how they approach each other on the court. And Angel Reese mentioned it in the lead up to the opening game, where it's like, oh, no, you know, there's no rivalry between the two. And then you see her blow up at Caitlin Clark on the court. It's like, I think there is, Angel. I think there absolutely is. But I don't think there's a deeper meaning behind this. I think it's just two rivals that don't like each other. And Caitlin Clark made a basketball play. The other one didn't appreciate it. I think that is all there is to this. I don't think that there's some greater commentary about where women's sports is in America because of this one play.
Simple. It's just ball.
Yeah.
Here's Angel Reese's response to that foul.
Angel, can you take us through the flagrant foul from your perspective? Just what you saw in that play, how you interpreted what happened.
Basketball play, refs got it right. Move on.
That's actually better than I thought, Curtis. I thought she was going to go on a rant. Like, I thought I already heard this sound, but no. Thank you, Andrew Reese, for not making this bigger than what it actually was. Yeah. All right, let's move along. The Joker, he sounds like a guy ready to catch his breath after his Nuggets were eliminated from the playoffs.
I need to decide, there is a Eurobasket, the European Championship. I need to decide that. I need to talk with the coaches and with some of the main players, let's say like that. And we will see, But from now, like next couple of days, there's going to be a lot of beer probably.
Lots of beer, honest, 100. He's the one guy who can look fluffy and out of shape, and we're not worried about it.
No, he's just going to lumber around out there, drop in his 40 points, his 20 boards, and move on with it. And he's a guy, too, that outside of basketball season, you never hear from him. You never see those workout videos that all of the superstars are posting in between seasons. He just kind of retreats to Serbia and kicks back, plays with his horses, maybe gets a few shots up here or there. He's one of those people. I heard it described like he is the definition of like a 9-to-5 worker, where it's like you don't see that person in the office before their shift starts. You don't see that person in the office after their shift ends.
He's gone.
Yeah.
And if he has a day off and the company's like, "Can you work on this day?" He goes, "Nah, actually, I'm just gonna go home." And
or
chill.
like the boss is like, "Hey man, we're a little understaffed today. Can you come in?" Oh dang, that stinks, man.
That's messed up.
Sorry to hear.
You try David?
Yeah,
David might be
I think
available.
he can do it. Yeah, I think he can play. No, but the Joker carrying that team and I mean, all the drama that the Nuggets had this season, firing their head coach. I think he deserves to kick back and have a beer or two.
Play with your horses, man. Do your thing. Next up, last one. Is the name Shifley? Am I saying that right? Shifley. Okay. Sorry, Shifley. Big respect for this one, too. Winnipeg's Jets captain Mark Shifley scored a goal in their win-or-go-home game just 6 hours after his dad passed away suddenly.
Firing towards the net. Rebound. Score! Shifley! Playing with the heaviest of hearts. Scores the road opening goal.
I didn't see his reaction, but I would imagine it'd be something like, what was that wide receiver, Godwin?
Marquise Goodwin?
Yeah, Goodwin that played for the Niners when he scored after his child died at birth. I mean, the fact that he still went out there and competed and then scores a goal says a lot. I could imagine what the emotions were like for him after this.
Yeah, the Jets were eliminated in this game. The Dallas Stars ended up winning it. They advanced to the Western Conference Finals, but his teammates surrounded him after the game, gave him big hugs, and then in hockey they do the handshake line after a series ends, and you could see the Dallas Stars players pulling him aside, giving him hugs as well. I mean, like you said, I can't imagine the amount of emotion this guy was feeling heading into that game, and he's one of I believe he's the longest tenured Winnipeg Jet player currently. Has played there his entire career, so I mean he's like the face of the franchise, and to be able to have that moment just hours after his dad's sudden passing, I mean, I don't know how he was capable of even skating that day. I would have been an absolute mess if I were in that situation.
Yeah, my mind would be everywhere but locked into that game. So, Mark, man, sorry for your loss, but man, way to go out, man, scoring that goal for your pops. All right, when we come back, it's time to talk some NFL. Which NFC West team has the brightest future? We will let you know right here on the Bump and Stacy Show.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How are you?
I get it. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Summer is on everyone's mind, and many of us ladies, well, you men too, would like to get rid of that extra stubborn fat and address those areas of loose skin like around the waistline, chin, and upper arms. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without getting the results you were hoping for. Introducing ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. ProSculpt is minimally invasive, performed while you're fully awake, and it's gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate and permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation, and for a limited time, get $250 off. Feel confident this summer with instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening that works for women and men too. ProSculpt.com.
John Curley here. Smart homeowners are upgrading heat pumps and air conditioners now before the summer heat wave with incredible rebates and discounts that'll save you up to $6,000. Home Comfort Alliance makes paying easy with 18 months, same as cash financing. Call Home Comfort Alliance today for a free quote and save up to $6,000. For your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today. That's HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car thefts dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com.
This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacg.com.
Hey, Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new replacement right now. That's huge. $1,000 off. Quite the incentive for homeowners to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and it really is a great time to do it. These days are getting long, right? Sunsets after 8 o'clock. Crews can get your roof done quick. So take advantage now before demand spikes this summer, making those repairs costly and time-consuming as well. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from the website, riversideroofingllc.com, and then you'll meet with Brandon, that's Don's son. Just tell him you heard the message here on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket, and yes, a brand new roof over your head. And while you're there, ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers in the nation, and of course the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. Remember, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The NFL draft is over. Rookies have had their mini camps. They're starting OTAs. They're officially in phase 2 of their off-season programs. And we're getting closer and closer to the season. We're trying to figure out which NFC West team has the brightest future. Now, I'm going to start with just what the 49ers did in their draft. You let me know if you see a trend here, Curtis. Mykel Williams, edge from Georgia. Alfred Collins, D-tackle from Texas. Nick Martin, linebacker from Oklahoma State. Upton Stout, corner from West Kentucky. And then you have C.J. West in the 4th round, D-tackle from Indiana. Seems like they had a need over there, Curtis.
Yeah, they're looking to fortify that defensive line, going D-line with 3 picks in the first 4 rounds. And then you kind of see just how that defense is aged out. You don't have guys like Dre Greenlaw over there anymore. Talanoa Hufanga is no longer there. Both of those guys, I believe, ended up in Denver. Javon Hargrave is out. So the 49ers obviously needing to hit the reset button a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. They have Nick Bosa under contract. They have Diamador Lenore under contract for a while. It sounds like things are progressing towards an extension for Fred Warner. So they've got pieces in place, but I also kind of wonder, Bump, like what does this Brock Purdy contract do for the 49ers spending going forward? Because we had to see them unload Deebo Samuel this last offseason. And then also there's talks about could Brandon Ayuk get moved maybe within the next year or so, depending on how that contract looks, which is funny because he signed that just 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad of a deal that has been for the 49ers. He got hurt, obviously, but they're also looking to get out of that just a year after making that move. They drafted Ricky Pearsall, but obviously the life-threatening situation he had before his rookie season started, that kind of derailed any expectations for him in his rookie year. So I'm looking at the 49ers right now, Bump, and it's kind of hard to see what is through the trees for them at this current moment because of just how much that Purdy contract is going to change how they operate.
All right, let's move along to this next team, all right? This next squad. They'll remain nameless until I throw it out there. The 11th offense in the NFL last year. When it comes to throwing the rock, they were middle of the pack. When it comes to running the rock, they were top 10. Now let's look at their draft. They went to D-tackle, corner, edge, linebacker, corner, offensive guard, and safety. Out of their, 7 picks, 6 of those things were on the defensive side of the ball. I'm talking about the Arizona Cardinals. We feel like they have a number 1 receiver, Marvin Harrison, over there. We feel like the run game was decent last year with number 6 in the game, averaging 144 yards per game. And at the quarterback position, they have one of those guys who are getting paid $50 million who haven't even sniffed a conference championship game. Seems like the same trend here. The Cardinals are looking at their offense and saying, we got McBride, we got Harrison, we got James over there. Offensively, we got some weapons. Let's shore up this defense.
And I think that's a good move on their part. And Jonathan Gannon is a defensive-minded head coach, so that is working in their favor that they have the offense, I think, in a good spot, especially with all the playmakers that you mentioned, Bum. I don't know if they have the kind of elite talent that is going to be needed to win a division in the NFL. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get there with Kyler Murray. It's kind of a situation that the 49ers are in where it's like, this is the best option we have for us right now. So we're going to extend him, even though there are better quarterbacks out there than what Murray is for the Cardinals. But you just, once you find somebody that's competent enough, you just kind of have to stick with them in the NFL. And for the Cardinals, I just don't know if they are a team that is going to be able to bring in the kind of elite talent that it takes to compete on the biggest stage in the NFL. At least, this is what, year 3 of Jonathan Gannon?
Yeah.
Year 4?
Year 3, yeah.
It's been a while since he's been there. By year 3, you got to really start to see great progress being made. I don't know how much they can take take on more in terms of the slow climb that they're on.
All right, let's get to one more before the Seahawks. We're talking about the Rams now. Their draft was a bit more balanced. You go tight end with your first pick in the second round, Terrence Ferguson. You go edge with your next pick. You go running back with your next D-tackle, linebacker, wide receiver. More of a balanced attack by the Rams, but they also have more to work with. You got that great defensive line, a couple guys in the secondary. You bring over Devontae Adams. You still got Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell. Your run game is on point with Kyron Williams and Matthew Stafford. This seems more like a team that's not looking to fill voids, but just add some depth to their situation.
They are, but I look at their defensive line bump, and it's not just what they did in 2025, but you look at what they've done over the last 2 drafts prior to 2025, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, and Kobe Turner. Your biggest need was defensive line help because of Aaron Donald's retirement. Not only do you have a really good young defensive tackle on his rookie contract in Kobe Turner, but you've also got Jared Verse, who's the reigning Rookie of the Year on the defensive side of the ball. And then Braden Fisk has been a really good player as well for that Rams team. You've got 3 young players. Byron Young is another really good player on that defense, linebacker. They don't have a quarterback, I think, beyond 2025. I don't think Matthew Stafford plays beyond 2025. I think this might be his final season. That's kind of the vibe I got based off of how the negotiations went. He's had some injuries the last few years. The Rams have not really addressed quarterback outside of bringing Stafford back on, $44 million. But I will say the pieces that they have in place on their defense right now, especially all those guys on their rookie deals, that to me is really concerning if you're the Seahawks or any other team in the NFC West, where it's like, okay, this Rams team, if they somehow find their quarterback of the future, watch out, because they're in a good position.
Right. And, of course, the last team, the Seattle Seahawks, we know what they did. Zabel was the big one. Nick Imorori was the second big one, the safety. And you got the tight end Elijah Arroyo. You go Milroy at the quarterback spot. You get a D-tackle from Notre Dame. They got the second best grade in the NFL. So I'm not even going to ask you for your analysis of the Seahawks because we've done that a bunch of times, right? The question for this segment was, who has the brightest future? And it was funny listening to you go through the analysis is because you made it sound like the team that's already on top might have the brightest future with their pieces. Am I reading that right, or are you going somewhere else?
If it's not the Rams, then I would probably say the Seahawks.
Right, me too.
But again, the Seahawks are in a similar spot that the Rams find themselves in, where it's like, who's your quarterback of the future? You did draft Jalen Milroe. We don't know what he's going to be like going forward, but at least that is a move to address that spot instead of continually kind of kicking the can down the road. But I just think the Rams and what they've been able to build up on that defensive line and also on the defensive side of the ball, it's definitely worth taking note of.
Yeah, and I agree with you. If Matthew Stafford is done and they have to start all over at the quarterback position, I think that puts him back a couple steps. If Sam Darnold is anything like we saw last year and the Seahawks improve offensively, it has to be the Seahawks. So I'm going to go out there and say the team with the brightest future in the division is probably the Seahawks at this point, but the team to beat at this point has to be the Los Angeles Rams. Agree, disagree?
I'm right there.
I am right there, Dad Podcast. On the same page. All right, when we come back, more football will be talked about. Fox Sports NFC West reporter Eric Williams will join us. We'll break down the Seahawks, the NFC West. All of that is next on the Bump and Stacy Show.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
For some people that are just committed to being mad at the team or they stink, you just wait. You know, they're desperate to be right about them not being good. So this was their first chance to go, see? Yeah, there's the real team. I'm like, so the real team is the one we saw in these 3 games and not the previous 9 series.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. You know, Dave, I love sport. You love sport. And I love sitting with coaches and hearing their game plan each and every week. What are the keys to a First Mark Insurance game plan?
It's a great question, Brock. I think there's really 3 keys to a great game plan with us. Number 1 is we want to make sure that our clients have the correct coverage for their unique specific needs. So that's number 1. Do you have the right coverage? Number 2, once we have the right coverage, are we getting that coverage at the most competitive price possible? And then last and not least would be once we have the right coverage at the most competitive price, are we providing world-class service to those customers so that when they need it, they have someone there that's got their back.
Those are the 3 keys to a First Mark Challenge victory. And man, am I so glad Molly and I took the challenge. We are one of so many through a decade plus of being a First Mark Challenge victory. You can too. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us, and I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Making an Impact, sponsored by Granger. Ashley Crossan has just been named 2025 National Teacher of the Year for her impact on students. Who does she give the credit for this honor?
The kids are amazing. Like, I don't have to do much because they come in, they show up, and they make the job easy.
For the ones who get it done, Granger offers professional-grade supplies and solutions, made for every industry and backed by product experts. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $2,500 off an energy-efficient brine cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners bounced back in a big way, completing a sweep of the Padres. Now they're off to the south side to play the White Sox. First pitch is at 4:40 today. The NBA Conference Finals are set. In the West, you got OKC against Minnesota. In the East, the Knicks against the Pacers. And Scottie Scheffler wins his third Masters this weekend at Quail Hollow after posting an even round of 71. He won by 5 strokes.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Hour 3 of the Bump and Stacy show. We got Curtis Rogers filling in for Stacy, and now we're joined by Fox Sports NFC West reporter Eric Williams on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Eric, how we doing today?
I'm doing great. Bump, Curtis, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us, as always. So, Eric, we just did a segment, and we were breaking down which NFC West team has the brightest future. I'm not going to tell you what we said because I want to see how things align with you since you cover this this division. Who do you think has the brightest future? Let's give it like within the next 2 to 3 years.
Oh, 2 to 3 years instead of 4 to 5?
Yeah, let's do that.
2 to 3 years, I guess I would go with the Rams just because I think Stafford's going to play for at least another 2 years. And I think with their roster, particularly on the defensive side of the football and the way that they've drafted, and I also think McVay's, I don't think, going anywhere, although he's been kind of, thinking about going to TV. I think he's the best coach of the 4. So with the way the roster sits and their quarterback, who I think is playing the best right now of any 4 of those teams, I think they sit in the best position over the next 2 years to potentially win a Super Bowl. And then after that, I would probably say it's a tie between the Niners and the Seahawks. And the reason I say that is Purdy obviously just signed the big deal, so you locked him up. He fits in that offense, in that system. Their roster is getting older, so it's going to be important for young guys that they drafted to develop and pop because they moved on from a lot of guys. And then I think you have to give the Seahawks a lot of credit for what they did both in free agency and the draft. I think their roster is improved, but I think the key there is what are you going to get from Darnold in terms of the player? Are you going to get the kind of guy that played at an MVP level at times for Minnesota, or are you going to get the old Sam Darnold?
Well, Eric, you're a ball knower because I said the Rams too, so I'm glad we're in agreement. But getting to that Brock Purdy extension he signed, or is, I guess, still waiting to put pen to paper on. Yeah, not officially yet, but it's going to happen. What does that do to the 49ers trajectory? Because we have seen them be able to go out and sign anybody that they want over the last few years because Purdy was on his rookie deal. Now he's getting paid like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. How much will this change how the 49ers do business?
Yeah, Curtis, I think it does change, and I think they're going to have to go to the model that the Rams are using where they moved on from some high-dollar contracts that weren't performing up to that level and are now going to lean into building a younger roster and hoping that those guys are able to emerge and be either role players or potentially foundational players. They were able to keep a handful of the guys that they consider their foundational players. They re-signed George Kittle. It sounds like, according to reports, they're going to re-sign Fred Warner. Bosa still has a couple years left on his deal, as does Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams. I think with the Brock Purdy signing, you kind of have to look at, like I said, teams like the Rams or teams like the Eagles, who signed Jalen Hurts to a decent deal, but has still been able to keep, really good receivers. Their O-line is one of the best in the league. They're still pretty good defensively. So I think you can look at teams like Rams, Eagles, and potentially the Lions too, with Jared Goff getting pretty good money and all the playmakers they've been able to surround Jared Goff with. So I don't think it's impossible. I think the contract, was in line with other guys that are performing at the level that Purdy's performing. I think it was $53 million on average in terms of new money. But when you look at the overall terms of the deal, and you include this last year that he is going to be playing on his rookie deal, it's $45 million annually, which I think is kind of about right.
So you put it in that perspective, that makes complete sense, right? You're playing under this rookie this year, then you get your money next year. It kind of gets down to $45 million. I think a lot of us are stuck on the 53 and saying, is he really worth the $53 million? And go ahead, Eric. You got something?
No, I was just agreeing with you, Bump. I think a lot of people are really emphasizing the $53 million and trying to put him in that category with Joe Burrow and Mahomes and Allen. And obviously he's not as good as those guys. But I think he's more with that second-tier group that you would lump him in, Tua, Lawrence, those kind of guys that are making around $50 million, Jared Goff.
How impressive has the come-up been for Brock Purdy? I want to say for a Mr. Irrelevant, this is the biggest contract any Mr. Irrelevant has ever gotten. Am I correct?
Bob, I feel like everybody is missing the boat, and it's exactly what you said. This guy's the last pick in the 2022 draft. Nobody expected him to be getting paid like this. He, probably would have been happy to be a backup quarterback for 5 to 7 years in the league. But he's getting paid like, the top guys in the NFL in terms of his position. So give him credit for being able to kind of work through that. Also, he's been Trey Lance deodorant. I mean, they screwed up that deal. Number 3 overall pick, and they had to trade him for a 4th-round pick. So he has probably saved some people's jobs when you talk about Kyle Shanahan and what they're trying to do in San Francisco because of the level of production that they got out of him on that rookie contract. So, again, give Brock his props for being able to do that. That said, it is going to be important that they surround him with a foundation of talent so he can go out there and perform, because he is a game manager in terms of being an excellent manager of that offense. He's not a guy that is going to put everybody in their back and say, come ride with me like Josh Allen. He needs other pieces in order to be successful. And so I think, when you look at the Niners, the separator for them, or one of them, is their coaching staff. They're able to get Robert Salah back. Gus Bradley is there and has been a good coach in the league for a long time. Chris Forrester and Chris Kucherick, their O-line and D-line coach, are some of the best in the business. So their ability to get talent and to develop that talent, I think is unique and probably top handful in terms of their coaching staff. And I think that's going to be important as they transition and they're paying Brock all this money.
How do you think expectations change for Brock Purdy now that he is going to sign this deal? Because I think a lot of people in his first few years in the league are just, like we talked about, it's like, oh my gosh, you're getting all this production out of the last pick in the draft, but all of a sudden now the conversation changes. You're now getting this production out of a guy who's making $53 million in terms of annual average value.
I think for me, it's not necessarily, the stats during the regular season. It's what he does in the postseason. Is he able to help lead this team on a deep postseason run, get back to the NFC Championship game, get back to the Super Bowl and win it? I mean, that's how we judge these top quarterbacks, is not necessarily what they did during the regular season, but, are you able to win a Super Bowl? Are you able to make deep postseason runs consistently and win at an elite level? So I think you're right. Once you start making this kind of money, you're going to be judged from a national perspective on what you do in January and ultimately February.
Milrow's been a big topic over here in Seattle, Eric, as you would assume.
Yeah.
But last week I had to remind people, I had to tell them Drew Lock's the number 2 quarterback, though. Like, if something were to happen to Sam Darnold, you're probably going Drew Lock first before you go Milrow. But everyone's excited about Milrow. So, I mean, do you agree with that? Do you think Drew would be the guy, then Milrow kind of backs him up? And what are your expectations for Milrow this year?
Yeah, but why are you bringing reality into this, man? Can't you just let us have some fun with it?
Somebody got to do it.
No, somebody's got to have some perspective, and you're certainly right. Drew Lock is the number 2 guy moving forward, and if Darnold was to go down week 3, week 4, Drew Lock would probably be the guy that would go in there, and that makes sense because of his experience. That said, I like the bet at the 3rd-round pick on Milrow's talent, and to see if in the next couple of years he can develop into somebody that potentially could be a starting quarterback, if not for the Seahawks, in the league somewhere. I had a chance to see him at the rookie premiere with his family over the weekend here in Los Angeles, and his face was lighted up and seeing his jersey and being able to wear it over the weekend. Obviously the physical tools are there. Certainly we talked a lot about that. But it's going to be, can he develop into a consistent, accurate passer to go with those physical tools? I like the fact that, like you said, he's the number 3 guy. There isn't a lot of pressure for him to play in this first year. He can kind of sit back and learn and just kind of figure out how to be an NFL quarterback. But I do feel like in year 2, let's throw him out there and see what it looks like and see if he's evolved enough to be a guy that could potentially lead your team.
Eric, one thing that people have noticed about this Seahawks team is the way that they've kind of constructed the roster a little bit differently, specifically in the wide receiver room. They went from having, I believe, the biggest cap number for their wide receivers in 2024 to, I believe, it's 23rd now. What does that shift tell you about the way that Mike McDonald and John Schneider want to build out this team?
I think it tells you they want to get back to the way they had success when Snyder came with Pete early on, and that's running the football. Obviously with Kubiak, that zone-based scheme he's had a lot of success in the past, or that scheme has had a lot of success in the past. So I think they want to get back on leaning on the running game. And if you're going to do that, then you're probably not going to pay your receivers as much as you normally would when you're throwing the ball all over the place. And so that to me tells me that they want to run it.
A position of concern for me, Eric, just because of depth alone, is the linebacker spot, interior linebacker for the Seahawks. Got Ernest, you have Tyrese Knight. I think Tyrese Knight had a pretty good rookie season, especially once he got paired up with Ernest Jones to kind of show him the ropes. What do you expect from Tyrese Knight, and do you feel like they still need to go shopping at that LB spot?
I think you always need depth at all the different positions. I would suspect that Knight's going to play better another year in the system. I have a lot of respect for Jones because I covered him every day when he played for the Rams, and he was one of the guys that people had a lot of respect for in that building, not only with the way that he carried himself in leadership, but he was a guy that made plays on game days as well. So I think it helps when you're playing next to another really good player like Jones. But you're right, guys are going to get hurt. It's a long season. You need to have depth that can go out there and produce if and when those guys get hurt. And maybe that's something that they look for guys to get cut, during training camp and to bring guys in. But yeah, I definitely think it makes sense to continue to add depth to that position.
Eric, it seems like the team that gets talked about the least in this division is the Cardinals. And I mean, they've been bringing up the rear for a while now. We're entering year 3 of Jonathan Gannon's tenure down in the desert. What have you made of their offseason? I know they extended Trey McBride. They've made a couple other moves, but what do you make of them heading into the summertime here?
Yeah, I like the idea of them bolstering their defensive line and their front seven. Bringing back Calais Campbell, I think, was a good get. So it adds somebody that can not only play, but is a good leader that gives them a little more juice on that side of the football. Obviously, they signed Josh Sweat to big money. Gannon had, a relationship with him from his time in Philadelphia. So, and they need pass rush help on the edge. Walter Nolan should help push the pocket in the interior, the guy they drafted in the first round. And then, they got Will Johnson as well, cornerback, and they needed help in the secondary. So I think their defense should be improved. But I do have concerns with the offense. You know, they lost 5 of their last 7 games, and Kyler did not play well, did not meet expectations in terms of, you know, what he was able to accomplish on the field. Was not on the same page with Marvin Harrison. You didn't see the kind of plays that you expected to see from a guy that was drafted number 4 overall. I'm not putting that on Marvin. I'm putting that on the offense and Kyler, and not doing a great job of getting him in positions where he can be successful. I expect him to be better in his second season. But I have concerns both with Murray and how he plays in the second half of seasons, because we've seen this a couple of years now. And then I'm wondering, you know, if they're going to be able to improve and be consistent on the offensive side of the football with James Conner now 30 years old, and this is a team that wants to run the football. And I kind of question the depth behind that. I don't know if Trey Benson is a guy that's going to be a bell cow guy that can lead them if Conner goes down. And then, you know, you have to consider the fact that they went out and signed Jacoby Brissett. You know, that tells you a little bit of something about their concerns for Kyler, both, I think, as a leader and then in terms of his ability to stay healthy for a full season.
He is Fox Sports NFC West reporter Eric Williams on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Eric, as always, we appreciate your time, man.
Thanks, Eric.
Sure. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
All right, first headline, Brock Purdy and the 49ers are in agreement on a 5-year extension worth up to $265 million, with 181 of them things in guarantees and a full no-trade clause. Curtis, what's the real headline?
The real headline, hopefully Mr. Irrelevant is ready to be the most relevant player on that 49ers roster.
Got to be. Biggest come up in NFL history.
For sure.
Mr. Irrelevant to a 5-year extension with 181 million guaranteed. We just talked to Eric, and he said, look, Purdy was probably getting into the league just hoping to be a backup for his whole career. All right, that's what most Mr. Irrelevants or quarterbacks drafted late are. But he found a way, and things had to happen for him. Jimmy had to get hurt. Trey Lance had to get hurt. He had to get an opportunity, perform at a high level, get him into a conference championship game, get him to a Super Bowl. That's all you need to do. Be drafted last and do all those things, you get your money.
I wonder what's a more... Wow, I mean, obviously Tom Brady is like the picture of draft day steal in NFL history. But, like, where's Brock Purdy's ranking in terms of, like, steals in NFL? Now, his career still has a lot left to be written about it. I mean, you can't even really put Kurt Warner on that list, Kurt Warner the quarterback, because he wasn't drafted. Like, you can't call him a draft day steal. He was undrafted. Same for, like, Tony Romo. He was undrafted. But, I mean, it doesn't get much more ridiculous than the last pick of the draft becoming a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, top 12 quarterback in the NFL, and then coming away with a payday like this. Like, it just goes to show those late picks in the NFL draft. I mean, if you hit on any one of those, you have set yourself up for years to come.
It also tells me that the Niners quarterback evaluation is kind of suspect.
Yeah.
You moved up to get Trey Lance. He played 14 games in college ball. Does absolutely nothing for you. You just grab a guy because you need a one in Brock Purdy.
We'll take him last pick.
Guarantee you they were like, he'd be a good camp arm. We'll see what happens and if he makes it out of here. And he ends up being your franchise guy. 49ers, what is going on with your quarterback evaluations over there?
I bet when Brock Purdy saw that we were getting down to the final picks of that draft, he was probably hoping to not get picked because then he could pick his team. He could pick just where he wanted to go play. And then the 49ers take him with the last pick. He's probably like, not a bad landing spot. They're a good team, but I mean, where he is now, no one saw.
He might have picked wrong too.
Oh,
might have picked wrong.
Yeah,
he would have picked like somewhere where he thought he could play, like Cleveland or something like that.
No,
all bad.
That would have bad.
Headline rewrites.
The Nuggets were eliminated by OKC in Game 7. It'll be the Timberwolves and the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. What is the real headline?
Real headline is we longtime Timberwolves fans like to say, go T-Wolves.
Go T-Wolves all day.
Go T-Wolves, baby.
You know, I was rocking with the T-Wolves back in the J.R. Ryder days, you know.
Tom Gugliotta
days. Old school T-Wolves.
Sam Cassell. Latrell Sprewell.
They've had some ballers go through there.
Malik Sealy.
It's nothing sticks. It's nothing sticks there. Rest in peace, Malik Sealy.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, man, we got to be going for the Timberwolves. I understand. Listen, I appreciate OKC for what they are, a young team on the rise. SGA is probably going to get MVP. You know how we feel about OKC over here. So this makes it even easier because Anthony Edwards is officially my favorite player in the game right now just because of his attitude alone. He defends. When he's hot, he can shoot the three. The mid-range is on point. We know he's athletic. This should be a good one. Young Bull against Young Bull.
I'm hyped for this one. I want Minnesota to go to the NBA Finals so bad. Mainly because it would stop Oklahoma City from getting to the finals where I think they would win because I think whoever wins the West probably is going to end up NBA champions just because Indiana and New York, while good teams, I don't think necessarily have the star power to hang with either OKC or Minnesota. I'm rooting for the Timberwolves. They finally are healthy. They've finally been able to kind of put it all together here at the end of the season. They had a ton of injuries during the regular season, which is why they were, I think, just the 6th seed in the Western Conference. But it's most of the team that got to the Western Conference Finals last year, and they lost to Luka and the Mavs. This year, I mean, OKC, I think, is a little bit better, more well-rounded team than what Dallas was a year ago, but I am rooting hard for the Timberwolves, and I think a lot of people here in Seattle, I think nearly everybody here in Seattle, rooting for the Timberwolves as well.
I need the Timberwolves to win. If they get there, I don't mind if they win, and I don't mind if the Knicks or the Pacers win. Obviously, it's just one team where I'm just like, you cannot win. Everyone else, I'm all good.
Headline rewrites.
A year after he was arrested at the PGA Championship, Scottie Scheffler won the 2025 title with a 5-shot victory. What's the real headline?
Real headline, he also turned bail money into prize money.
That's how you do it.
That's exactly
That's how you do it right there. You say, hey, don't worry, I'm going to get this back. I'm going to get this back.
Did you see the picture of him putting his son down to like kind of just play while he's signing his scorecard?
Distract him.
He gives him his hat. He gives him, I think, like his scorebook, just to be like, all right, play with that while Daddy's busy here. I do that all the time.
Anything at that age, they're so simple. They're so simple. Give me something I can hold that makes noise. I'm good to go. Here's Scotty on his win.
Scottie Scheffler wins in a runaway in the showdown at Charlotte.
Wins in a runaway. Rahm was on him at first, and then he kind of fell apart, and all Scotty had to do was just play even par. That's exactly what happened, man. Scotty, 28 years of age. He has 3 majors already. #1 golfer in the world. He's in almost every tournament. This guy's had a great 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah. Did you see Phil Mickelson's tweet before the tournament?
No.
Where he was like, do you guys think Scotty's going to win before the 2025 Ryder Cup? And people were like, that's a weird thing to say about Scottie Scheffler, a guy who's routinely in contention. And then Scheffler goes and wins, and then people are responding to it like, yes, Phil, I think he will win before the Ryder Cup gets here. I think that's going to happen. I can see it.
Scotty is just his swing, don't ever try to copy it. There's a lot of movement going on there. He's composed. He sunk, I believe, a birdie on 18 the day before to kind of get his momentum going. He's the best in the game right now, and it's fun for him to watch. I hated seeing Rory kind of fall off after having a great showing at the Masters, obviously. But
Rory ducking the media this week.
Hey, he's out. Wonder why. His wife and him tripping again?
I don't know.
Man, come on, Rory. You want a green jacket. You're invincible now, baby. Grand Slam. But this week, it was all about Scottie Scheffler. Okay, when we come back, NFL headlines. We will talk Seahawks preseason. Jamal Adams would have a dream come true if something were to happen in Hard Knocks in the NFC West. We'll talk about all that next on the Bump and Stacy Show. Got Curtis Rogers filling in for Stacy.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
I
are
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at MazdaofEverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Summer is on everyone's mind, and many of us ladies, well, you men too, would like to get rid of that extra stubborn fat and address those areas of loose skin like around the waistline, chin, and upper arms. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without getting the results you were hoping for. Introducing ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. ProSculpt is minimally invasive, performed while you're fully awake, and it's gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate and permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation, and for a limited time, get $250 off. Feel confident this summer with instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening that works for women and men too. ProSculpt.com.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car thefts dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
It's time for a girls' night out back. Australia's Thunder from Down Under Temptation Tour is hitting Galaxy at Muckleshoot, June 5th through 7th. Tight abs, ripped bodies, and moves so hot you'll need a cold shower after. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com and feel the thunder. June 5th through 7th, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, why did you make the call to First Mark Insurance?
My company has grown to a space where we need a higher level of coverage. A couple of factors led me to say, boy, I really need to find something new, and First Mark really rang that bell.
First Mark save you and your business money?
Oh, yeah. They have decreased overall expense in a couple categories by up to 30%, coverage in a couple of areas by greater than 50%. They've offered coverage in 2 new categories that I think are pertinent for my business, and they've greatly impacted what that coverage and those margins look like.
Kind of wish you made the call earlier.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
From the Quantum
Show that man some love. Gave you some good years here. Despite what you think about him, it could have been a lot worse if Gino were not here. To no surprise, Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni and the Eagles have agreed to a multi-year extension. He's good for at least 3 or 4. He could have 2 losing seasons, and they're going to give him at least 1 more after that. When you bring a Super Bowl to Philly for the second in, 8 years or something like that?
Yeah.
And, you deserve an extension. And the way he's doing it is like no other coach in the NFL.
Right. Then
guy. Third and short, you want to keep your safety in, but be big in the box. You go ahead and do that. I just don't know if there's a place for him on that team right now, especially with Glenn trying to change the culture of the Jets. You're bringing a guy like Jamal Adams. If he doesn't just fall in line, it could be a little tricky over there. So good luck to Jamal, man. If you get another contract or get another year, you go ahead and do exactly that. Let's go back to the 49ers. Could the in-season Hard Knocks be coming to the NFC West? San Francisco columnist Tim Kawakami says he's hearing that might be the case. You said earlier you'd like to see this, right?
I would. I think it's not as invasive as the preseason Hard Knocks, and definitely not as invasive as the offseason one, because the New York Giants have to relive that clip over and over and over again of them letting Saquon Barkley walk and let him go to the Eagles. I'd be down for an in-season NFC West Hard Knocks, because it also gives you a chance to check in on every other team. Yeah, Kawakami writes, one NFL note, I've heard that the 49ers could be involved in an NFC West in-season Hard Knocks like they did with the AFC Central last year. Would be the only way the 49ers would want those cameras and microphones around them. So it sounds like, and this is something you definitely have to plan this far in advance, it sounds like the wheels are in motion for some kind of documentary-style show about the 2025 Seahawks, which I'm all for. None of us have ever seen what the Seahawks are like sort of behind closed doors in that way. At least, well, I mean, you played for the Seahawks, but not, we never saw what Pete Carroll, what that whole thing was like. We don't know what Mike McDonald is like. I don't know how comfortable Mike McDonald's going to be, because he's a guy who keeps everything very close to the vest, but I'm all for a potential NFC West in-season Hard Knocks.
Yeah, it could be cool. I'm not mad at that at all. Not mad at all. Let's get to this one. Frankie Louvu, go Cougs, thinks the tush push should be banned.
My personal opinion, I think they should ban it. You know what I mean? But I know the argument is going to be about like, hey, you guys have to stop it. Don't get us in short yardage and whatnot. But I mean, it's kind of like a Chico play, man. You got Jordan Mailata on the right. You got, it's pretty much a scrum in rugby. That's how I kind of look at it. And we got to have a scrum too on the other side. And the scrum is, we have a cadence where we all go at once. It's not like you hard count and this and that, where, now you're getting us or myself jumping over the pile thinking that they're about to snap the ball. And that's just my own personal opinion, and I'm going to leave it at that.
That might be one of the better takes about how to fix the tush push. He says, just everyone goes on the same snap count. It's on go. There's no ready, no set. You get under center, go. Or we have it like racing. You put lights behind the offense and the defense. Once it flashes green, then you can go. So it's a true reaction, because that's the main thing, is that the offense just knows when the ball is going to be snapped, so you lose some leverage as a defender.
Yeah, I think Louvu was penalized twice in the NFC Championship game for procedure penalties against the tush push, so I can see why he would feel that way about the tush push. But I still think it has a place in the NFL. I want to see it stick around.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. Yeah. If you can make it a little more fair, then okay. But I'm exactly what Louvu said. Don't get into that situation, and that play is not an option. But I do like his solution is everyone goes on the same count, or me, I'm going Mario Kart status. Put the lights behind him, count it down, hits green, you are out of there. All right, that is it for NFL headlines. We got lots more to do when we come back. We'll go NFL, we'll go baseball. All that is next on the Bump and Stacy Show. I'm Michael Bumpus. That's Curtis Rogers.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious if they're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. Those two games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, what's up? This is Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino. If you have nothing to do, hop in your car, put on a podcast, a playlist, and take an easy drive up I-5 and get off on exit 260. That's where you'll find Silver Reef Casino. It's a great place to get away and to recharge with some loved ones or some friends. You walk into the rooms, there will be deluxe king rooms everywhere, free Wi-Fi, and they have tablets as well. Let you know what's going on all across the casino. When you're done there, it is time to eat. Go downstairs to the steakhouse and the cantina if you're looking for some Mexican food. food. And if you are a golfer like I am, let's play a team. Loomis Trails Golf Course has water everywhere, so don't get frustrated. Take your drop, hit the ball again, you'll be fine. And then great events as well. Beatles versus the Stones is coming up, man. Silver Reef Casino has something for everyone. If you're feeling FOMO, I got you covered. This is what you do. Visit silverreefcasino.com. You book your stay today. It's as simple as that. Up I-5, exit 260, silverreefcasino.com.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that, you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
The Mariners are back in action at T-Mobile Park, and you can be there for big moments all summer long with a Flex membership. Flex plans are perfect for fans who want the freedom to choose their games and seats as they go, while still enjoying all the perks of being a member, like saving 10% or more on tickets with no fees, unlocking access to exclusive pre-sales and year-round discounts, and so much more. Join the squad today at mariners.com/flex.
Cal Raleigh wins it in the 10th inning for the Mariners.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
They say teachers don't impact for a year, but for a lifetime. Hi, this is Rick Riz. Join WSECU, your local credit union, as we celebrate those who give so much with the Teacher of the Week program. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. Each week throughout the season, we'll honor one teacher with a $500 grant, courtesy of WSECU. Teachers are the real MVPs. Find out more and nominate a teacher at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
G. Scott here with former Seahawk Doug Baldwin.
Tell us about Nourishing Champions.
We know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers. And one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. So Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
High schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn more at championsofchangefoundation.org/Nourishing Champions.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It was a little rough for the Mariners. You're at home and the Blue Jays came into town. You got swept. No one expected that. Yankees roll through. You're competitive, at least in 2 games. You win 1, lose the other 2. 11 runs scored in one of those games. And then things get back on track. You go down to sunny San Diego, California, and you sweep one of the better teams in baseball. So now you're on the south side. You're where Barack is from, where Kanye's from, where the Pope is from. You get down on the south side of Chicago, and it has us wondering, like, what do we think about this team? What are our expectations? I think, Curtis, we always have to start with the pitching with this team, right?
Yeah.
So there's a vacant spot in that rotation, right? We got Castillo today, don't know tomorrow, and you have Evans. The reason why there's a blank space for tomorrow is because
potentially George Kirby.
Okay.
I mean, I would love to see George Kirby out there. Just kind of depends on how comfortable the Mariners are putting him back out there for his first major league action. We heard from Justin Hollander last week, basically telling us what our record is will not dictate when George Kirby comes back. He basically will get to pick when he feels ready. Now,
I like it.
Yesterday in post-game, or not post-game, it was actually pre-game. It was right before first pitch. He met with the media and talked a little bit. Here is what Kirby had to say about sort of the time frame that he's working with.
Yeah, I haven't really discussed it quite yet with them, but I feel good. So been bouncing back good, feeling good every time I got to touch the rubber. So just kind of waiting to find out. So
right, the velo's obviously good. Everything feels fine, ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So George Kirby keeping it low key as he always does. So it sounds like things are trending in the right direction. I think if he is back in this series bump, and this is where we're going to kind of look ahead at this series, I think that bodes well for the Mariners. I think it bodes well for them with or without him. I think you've got a really good shot at winning this series if he is your starting pitcher. If not, I think, Jonathan Diaz could potentially get the ball in that game. We've seen him make a couple starts here and there, but nothing that has blown anybody away. So hopefully if Diaz is the guy on Tuesday, that he just kind of keeps everything at bay, nothing gets out of hand, and you can turn the ball over to the bullpen, and things are hunky-dory after that. But I'm expecting a series win, Bum. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. The last time I felt this good was going into Toronto. You see what happened there. But the White Sox, they are in Toronto. And I'm just looking for Castillo to come out this first game and just be solid. Because there was a time during this season where, we were questioning, his health and is he going to be able to keep up? And the last time that we saw him, it was a loss against Toronto, but he gave you 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned against Toronto. Then against New York, he bounces back. He goes 6 innings with 1 earned. So we're hoping that he can continue to build off of that. My big prediction for this one is that Cal, Julio, and Polanco are all going to go yard at some time during this series. That's what I want to see. That's what I need to see.
I like to hear that. You got Davis Martin on the mound tonight for the White Sox. He's a right-handed thrower, so the assumption is you would see Jorge Polanco in as at least the DH hitting from the left side of the plate, so that'd be good to get him back in the lineup. You've got Bryce Wilson on Tuesday for Chicago. He's another righty. And then on Wednesday, the series finale, Shane Smith. He's another right-handed thrower, so potentially we could see Jorge Polanco in 3 straight games here for this team. His bat's cooled off a little bit here in the month of May, but hopefully we start to see him kind of get back to maybe not necessarily what he was in April, but get back to what Jorge Polanco has been historically as a hitter, because what he was doing in the month of April, that's just not sustainable for anybody outside of Aaron Judge. But I think the Mariners need to get him in the lineup more often, or at least as much as his body will allow, because it's really hard to keep up this kind of pace when you're in and out of the lineup so much.
Yeah, you got to find your rhythm and your groove. And so far this month, probably the most productive bat the Mariners have right now is Randy. He's got, 4 doubles, 3 RBIs. He has a bomb as well, /319, 429, 468, OPS of 897. And then you obviously got Cal Raleigh as well with his clutch and timely hits. 5 bombs so far this month. Julio has 3 and JP has 2. So, all you need is for Polanco to have a game or two where he looks like Polanco again. And honestly, for everyone else is to continue to do that. I would like to see Ben Williamson find that little streak or run that he was going on for a little bit. And the bottom of the lineup, keep contributing. Rowdy, come through with a clutch hit. Demo, keep doing what you're doing offensively and defensively. This is the most confident I felt about this ball club going into a series. It would be such a letdown, too, if you sweep the Padres and then you go to Chicago and you look like the team that was in Seattle just a few weeks ago. That'd be a complete letdown. We cannot see that.
I would hate that. That would be brutal. And look, it's baseball. That stuff does happen from time to time, but I would hope that the Mariners are able to turn that momentum forward and not look back and be like, man, look at what we did in San Diego. Right. That was amazing. It's like, no, the White Sox, I mean, they're not an incredible team by any stretch of the imagination. They're not even a good team by any stretch of the imagination, but they've got dudes on their roster. I mean, Luis Robert is the biggest name on that roster. Off to a slow start this year, but that's somebody who I would not mess with. We saw him hit a monster home run, what was it, last year when they played in Seattle, so I wouldn't mess with that guy. Miguel Vargas has played really well, their third baseman. So it's not like you're just handing it over to the White Sox and being like, all right, let us beat you and just take your beating and move on with it. No, they've got dudes. Jonathan Cannon, a good starting pitcher. He's not going to be in this series, but Davis Martin's pretty good. Shane Smith, who gets the start. Those two guys have pitched really well. So it's not like this is going to be a walk in the park. Some interesting names, though, in this series in terms of former Mariner guys. How about Penn Murphy? He's pitched the second most games of any White Sox reliever. And then Josh Rojas also on that team.
Okay.
It is and Omar Narvaez also on this White Sox team, too. So just a lot of old-timey Mariners back with this White Sox team.
Can't sleep on them, but can we win the series we're supposed to win? White Sox 14 and 33, minus 53 when it comes to run differential. Let's get this one done, please. All right, that's it for our little series preview right there. When we come back, more football. It's NFL list season, and we got one for you that includes Mike McDonald. We'll talk about that next on the Bump and Stacy Show. We got Curtis Rogers filling in.
Blue 88, every day at 7:45 on Brock and Salk.
Will the Seahawks ever find another Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah, this was a cool comment from Pete yesterday.
Marshawn was such an attractive individual to bring into our program. And how many people will ever talk about Marshawn as being an attractive individual? Not many. But, he really was. He was really I thought, the change maker for us there.
Blue 88 on Seattle Sports. Get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at MazdaofEverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners bounced back in a big way, completing a sweep of the Padres. Now they're off to the south side. They're facing the White Sox. First pitch is at 4:40. The NBA Conference Finals are set. OKC against Minnesota in the West and Knicks against the Pacers in the East. Scottie Scheffler wins his third major this weekend at Quail Hollow, and Brock Purdy signs an extension that gets him $181 million guaranteed and a no-trade clause.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
from the Quantum Fiber Studio
This is Bump and Stacy.
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
The NFL is running out of things to do. You have the draft. Okay, you had your rookie mini camps. You had the schedule release. So now this is the point of the year where every analyst, every NFL outlet, they're going to tease you with a whole bunch of lists.
That's right.
And they're going to say, listen,
let's go.
You guys debate this thing. We're just going to throw it out there. You guys take the bait and give us great content. And that's exactly what we're going to do here today.
I love list season because it's just the easiest way to get content this time of year, because you got to rank things in the NFL because the schedule has been released.
Mm-hmm.
You're just waiting for mini camp, OTAs. Things don't really pick back up in the NFL until probably the start of training camp now. Yes, you do have those somewhat, they have those report dates between now and in the end of July, but things don't really ramp back up into a big time like NFL feel until the start of training camp. So you're going to see lists get released daily, probably. The NFL does their top 100 list, best home field advantage, blah, blah, blah. But what we have in front of us today, Bump, the NFL Daily Podcast, which is hosted by Greg Rosenthal, who we've had on the show a bunch of times over the years. Great guest. Love having him on. His podcast did an NFL head coaches draft. And they only picked coaches that have coached in the NFL prior. So the first-time head coaches were not eligible in this draft. So that leaves 27 to pick from. Number one overall, we could probably guess.
Yeah.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid should be.
3 rings. I think he's got, 6 total Super Bowl appearances if you count his time with Philadelphia and Kansas City. He is the man.
They put anyone in front of Andy Reid, this list is no longer legit. Andy Reid is the standard. If Bill Belichick was in there, maybe he can rock with him, but the way that he went out, probably not. It is Andy Reid at number one, no questions asked. Let's go from number one to the last one, and then we'll come together.
Number one is Andy Reid. The last ranked head coach on this list is Tennessee Titans head coach Brian Callahan.
Yeah.
And, I think that's a fair analysis based off of just how bad the Titans season went. He's a second-year head coach. So I'm sure his seat is pretty hot heading into this year. You've got a rookie quarterback as your starter. So, I think Brian Callahan right now, pretty squarely the worst head coach in the NFL.
All right, so now let's go to the middle. You got 2 former Seahawks in the middle. You got Pete Carroll at 13 and Dan Quinn at 14. I'm surprised Dan Quinn is this low after what him and the Commanders were able to do last year.
Yeah, and he's done it now in 2 stops. In Atlanta, took them to the Super Bowl. We all know how that one ended, 28-3. And now in his first year with the Commanders, takes him to the NFC Championship game. He's a guy that teams love to, or players love to have on their team. What's interesting, though, Bump, is that the guy below Pete Carroll and Dan Quinn at 13-14, the number 15, basically the start of the second half of best coaches in the NFL, is the guy who just got paid today.
Nick Sirianni.
Nick Sirianni. They have him as the 15th best head coach in the NFL. Now, I wonder what the criteria was for this list, if this list was simply just like X's and O's, or if it was just how they handle players, how they handle everything. To not have Nick Sirianni, who already has 2 Super Bowl appearances in 4 seasons, all 4 years have ended in a playoff trip, to not have him in at least the top 10, and some of the names in the top 10 we'll get to and we'll debate here, that to me seems like this was a pick on this list just to get us talking. And congrats, they succeeded.
Listen, the Eagles had the best defense in football last year.
Yeah.
The second best run game last year. Throwing the football, they were near the bottom when it comes to throwing the rock. But overall, one of the best offenses, one of the best defenses, yet he's at 15. So what this is telling me is that, he should have done more with his personnel. They won the Super Bowl, dog.
How do you get more out of this Eagles team?
That's as good as it gets. And during, one segment we did, you point out, like, look, that's 2 Super Bowls in 7-8 years. They've been to the conference championship a couple of times as well. What else does Nick Sirianni have to do to get higher on this list? This one had me scratching my head just a little bit. Before we get to the top 10, are there any other spots where the coach that has you scratching your head? Maybe we should talk about the coach here in Seattle.
Yeah, Mike Macdonald coming in at number 19. So in the second half of coaches, he's never made the playoffs. He's only coached one season. Did finish with 10 wins under his belt. You look at all the coaches ahead of him, they've all made the playoffs. Vrabel at number 18, he made the playoffs a bunch of times with the Titans. Mike McDaniel has done it with Miami. Kevin Stefanski, he's a 2-time coach of the year at number 16, which I don't know about Stefanski. That's an interesting one at 16, especially considering the year that Cleveland has had and how they have not been able to kind of match what they did with Baker Mayfield as their quarterback. So I don't know about Stefanski being as high as he is, just one spot below Nick Sirianni. But McDonald at 19, I don't know if you can be mad at that ranking.
I ain't mad at that.
I'm not mad at it either.
No.
I think there's definitely room for improvement.
Yeah, he's a young coach, and what most people do when we talk about their 10-win record, they're going to text in and say, the Rams took a week off that last week, so I'm really only giving them 9.
10 wins is 10 wins.
You win the game, you get 10, but I'm not mad at his spot because you mentioned the names in front of him. Vrabel, who's done at a different spot. McDaniel, who has one of the best offensive minds. Stefanski, okay. Dan Quinn, Pete Carroll, Sean McDermott for sure. Jim Harbaugh, he's a winner, turning things around. Mike Tomlin at number 10, he deserves to be there. So now let's get into the top 10. Number 9 is
That's
funny
one
to me.
that I don't agree with this list.
It's the DeMeco Ryans. And if we're talking about 2 years ago, in 2023, that season, coming off of that, then I say, all right, let's give it to him. But last year, that offense was atrocious, man. You couldn't protect your quarterback. Your defense was okay, but you couldn't protect your quarterback. So they're looking at DeMeco Ryans to me and saying, well, he did a lot with a little over there, and we believe in his tactics in Houston.
How many playoff games have the Texans won with him? Like one, maybe?
Yeah, one. They got one.
I don't see it the way that maybe this list does from NFL Daily, which is an NFL.com production. So this is pretty reputable source here for NFL news. But DeMeco Ryans in the top 10 already, ahead of Mike Tomlin, ahead of Sean McDermott,
Harbaugh,
ahead of Pete Carroll, ahead of Jim Harbaugh. I don't see it. I think if I was rebuilding this list, I would put Sirianni in the top 10. I would probably put Mike Tomlin and Sean McDermott in the top 10 as well. And the guys that I'm probably taking out of the top 10, I think Sean Payton, I would move him out.
Yep.
Kevin O'Connell, number 4.
I mean, you see what he did with Sam.
He did do a lot.
He did. So it was Sam, baby.
I'm definitely taking Payton out. I'm definitely taking DeMeco Ryans out of the top 10. They have Sean Payton at number 7 as head coach of the Denver Broncos. And that's the thing with this. Like, you can disagree with it, but you've got to make sure that it still lines up. If you want to take somebody out of the top 10, you got to put somebody in. So, of the guys in the top 10 right now, you've got Reed number 1, McVay 2, Dan Campbell 3rd, O'Connell 4th, Kyle Shanahan 5th, Harbaugh 6th, Sean Payton 7th, Matt LaFleur 8th, DeMeco Ryans 9, Mike Tomlin 10. Outside of Ryans and Payton, is there anybody else that you would take out of the top 10?
I would consider Matt LaFleur. I'd consider taking him out. Did Green Bay, they won a playoff game last year, correct?
Yes, they made it to the divisional round.
Okay, they won. I would struggle to take him out. But Sean Payton and DeMeco Ryans for sure. If we're going off just of what happened last year, you're looking at Kyle Shanahan with a side eye a little bit. Like, I know why you're here. But last year wasn't so great. But obviously a bunch of injuries and all that stuff affects what's going on. I'm not too mad at the top 10. I'm just mad that Nick Sirianni ain't in that. That's bull. You win a Super Bowl and you do it your way. He doesn't do it like any other coach. He's talking to the crowd. He's being all crazy. He lets his offensive guy coach. He lets his defensive guy coach. And he is just kind of the nucleus and the catalyst to all this, which I feel like is the best role for a head coach to be in this league. Soon, Mike Macdonald will be in that role, right? He has his offensive coordinator for the future, hopefully in Kubiak. He's training AD right now for him to get his opportunity to go. I think once Mike Macdonald can really just let loose and check on the offense, check on the defense, I'm sure he does now, but at a higher rate, I think he'll take his coaching to the next level.
Now,
too.
we've looked at the top of this list, and we looked at some guys that maybe should go in the top 10. How about the bottom of the list? So let's go from below Mike McDonald to the end of it. We know Brian Callahan was the worst at 27th.
Mm-hmm.
At number 20, Tampa Bay head coach Todd Bowles.
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, they made the playoffs last year, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Lost in the first round.
I wonder how much they attribute their turnaround to the offensive staff that was led by Liam Cohen.
Yeah.
And now he's in Jacksonville. And he's not on this list because he's a first-year head coach.
Right.
21, Jonathan Gannon in Arizona.
That's fine.
22, Shane Steichen.
Might need to be lower.
Yeah.
I switch him and Zach Taylor. Taylor's at 24.
Cincinnati has found themselves in the playoffs more often than not with Zach Taylor as their head coach. I mean, they made it all the way to the Super Bowl. Dave Canales, 23rd. Taylor, 24th. Brian Daboll, 25th. And then Raheem Morris at 26th.
That one surprised me, too. Raheem at 26. I would switch him and Canales. I'd move Canales at 26. I'd put Raheem at 23. Brian Daboll, is crazy how quickly he seems to have fallen off because a couple of years ago he'd be top 15 for sure. I think maybe he's okay there. Maybe switch him and Jonathan Gannon, I think. I think Daboll deserves to be up a bit more. Everything else I think I'm okay with. I don't like the disrespect to Raheem Morris, though.
Yeah. I mean, Raheem Morris definitely does things his own way. Like he drafting Michael Penix and then benching Kirk Cousins and just how they've gone about building that roster in Atlanta. And if he ends up having success in Atlanta, he looks like a mad genius.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a somebody that's like, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to zig while others zag.
Well, last year was his first year, right?
First year as the Falcons head coach. He was previously head coach of the Buccaneers
Bucs,
like about a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
So this is his second time as head coach in the NFL. But, I mean, it was a reach for them to take Michael Penix where they did based off of what they already had on their roster. But you look at what the Falcons now have at quarterback, you would much rather go into this 2025 season right now with Michael Penix as your starting quarterback than have drafted have signed Kirk Cousins last year, not drafted Penix with him, drafted a defensive guy in 2024, and then gone into this 2025 draft looking at, the young quarterback talent that was available in the first round. It was Cam Ward, who was going number 1 overall, and then it was Jackson Dart, who goes at the end of the first round of the Giants. There was like nothing else in this first round. So in a way, the Falcons set themselves up pretty nicely by going out and getting Michael Penix when they did. And I wonder just how much they were influenced by what they saw in the class of 2025 compared to what they did in 2024.
They were projecting for sure. Like, hey, listen.
We're not going to see a guy like this.
He'll be good out there.
Yeah.
In the defensively, they went and got Jalen Walker, the backer out of Georgia. So really with Atlanta, it was more about can their defense hold up. We still got to wait and see what Michael Penix does. We only saw him for a couple of games. Before those couple of games, I know he has 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 2 of those interceptions were on his pass catches, just hitting the ball up in the air and allowing the defense to recover. But I don't see too much wrong with this because obviously we don't know exactly what the criteria was. It obviously wasn't have you been to the playoffs or not, have you built a program or not, because if that's the case, we think Dan Quinn and Pete Carroll will probably be a bit higher. But no, these are great lists, as you said, because it gets us talking. And we need all the content we can get here on the radio because, sometimes it runs dry. And these lists, they keep things going. So appreciate your service. Your list is wrong. And we'll critique the next one that you have. Let's get to 4 Down Territory.
This is 4 Down Territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down to you, Bump. What did you see on social media this weekend that has you pulling out what little hair you have left?
Well, little hair. So I had to reach for the sides. That's where the hair grows. I don't grow up top no more, right? So I'm pulling my hair because I'm on X. I'm watching, I'm observing, I'm reading comments. Some of y'all are crazy with your comments, man. Y'all have me rolling at times. But I come across this video of Travis Hunter running routes in Jacksonville. And he runs an out, right? 10, 15-yard out. He rolls it. He stumbles a little bit going forward. He catches the football. He runs like a dig. So instead of going out, you're going 10, 15 yards. You're running the end. It looks smooth. And then he runs like a curl at the top. Takes him a little long to get out of his break. But you see the potential. And I'm looking at all the hate underneath the comments. This is your number 2 pick. What is he doing? He doesn't look sharp. Listen, if you don't see the athleticism in that body, if you don't see that once he gets coached up and is learned or taught what to feel getting in and out of his routes, man, I don't know if I trust your evaluations. Will it transfer to the NFL? He'll go for 1,100 yards, something like that. Who knows? I doubt it. But me being the route runner guy, when you are stumbling out of your routes, if you happen to stumble, I'd rather you fall forward than fall backwards. If you are falling forward, that means you're committed to your route. You put your foot in the ground. Your legs couldn't handle the momentum or the force that you're putting into the ground. Once you get used to doing that time and time again, you should be okay. I think this is the first time that Travis Hunter is going to be coached as a receiver, like the details of being a receiver. When you're at college sometimes, especially when you're dealing with an athlete like him where he's playing offense and defense, you let some little stuff just slide. Because you're like, look, we got you for 15 reps, then you got to go over to offense. So I think that he is going to be coached up, and I think that he is going to be just fine. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-pro, Pro Bowl type of receiver, but you see it in him, man. My man is athletic. His routes will be fine. It's about the playmaking. People have me going crazy reading the comments on that video.
Second down. All right, Bump, we're just 3 years away from flag football being an Olympic sport. So what will we find out pretty soon when it comes to flag football?
Listen,
the 2028 Olympics.
If I'm not on some type of broadcast crew on the Olympics 2028, somebody ain't doing their job, right? Give your boy a job. But this is what I'm looking at. We're going to find out quickly what needs to happen with this roster. So the USA is going to compete in the 2025 IFAF American Continental Flag Football Championships in Panama. This is coming up. There are 12 names on this team. No one knows. You might know Daryl Doucette III because he was a quarterback who said he was better than Pat Mahomes in the flag football scene. Here's the thing about flag football. It is different when it comes to tackling. There's some things that they know that these NFL players don't know. But during this tournament, you're going to play Australia, Canada, Germany, Israel, and Japan. Canada worries me a bit because they actually have their own football league. They understand how to do it. They've been producing football players for decades now. Germany, I just expect them to be big and fast. Israel, I have no expectations. Japan, I saw them beat a USA amateur flag football team. Tackle team with their guys. Listen, nothing is guaranteed, especially in 7-on-7 flag football, but we need this to be clean. We need to look like the better team. This is our game, but if we don't, then that entices the NFL to kind of send their guys that way. I would love to see it.
Whatever happened to that flag football player who said he was better than Patrick Mahomes?
That he's on this team.
Oh, yeah.
He's on the team. Doucette the third. He's on this team.
Here's that clip.
At the end of the day, I feel like I'm better than Patrick Mahomes because of my IQ of the game. I know he's right now the best in the league. I know he's more accurate. I know he has all these intangibles. But when it comes to flag football, I feel like I know more than him.
He might.
About flag?
Yeah.
But you ain't better than him.
No.
No.
And Patrick Mahomes, if he was a flag football quarterback, would carve up the world.
It'd be too easy for him. It'd be too easy. Because in flag, the offense is supposed to win. Like
Right.
I have a 7-on-7 program. We go to these tournaments. We'll have the ball 8 times and sometimes not score once. But it's built for the offense.
Right.
So I get the confidence. You're supposed to be confident. You are Team USA's captain and quarterback. I get it. But calm down just a little bit, dog.
Third down. Bump, what should expectations be for Brock Purdy with this new contract?
Expectations would be, look, just play up to your best year. Play up to your best year. Show the world that you are the guy. Because I think that people believe that you're a good quarterback, but they don't think that you are super elite. But you don't have to be super elite. In 2023, 69% completion rate, 4,200 yards, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. If you can duplicate that, you are going to be good because we have a quarterback here in Sam Darnold who had a better year than Brock Purdy in his best year last year, and he's getting $37 million per year. So that's what you need. And just look competent. This is the biggest come up in NFL history. Mr. Irrelevant to $181 million guaranteed. He didn't think his life would be this way. I didn't think his life would be this way. But you are the guy. And like you said in Handline Rewrites, can Mr. Irrelevant be the most relevant player on this football team? We shall see. Shanahan, the top 5, top 6 coaches in the NFL according to that list?
Number 5.
Number 5, get her done.
4th down. All right, Bump. We talked to Fox Sports NFC West reporter Eric Williams to start off the 12 p.m. hour. You can catch that hour 3 of the podcast page. We asked him, obviously, about the Brock Purdy contract. So how has your opinion changed on Purdy's contract since speaking with Eric Williams?
Before speaking to Eric, I'm thinking $53 million a year. Man, that guy is up there with some of the better quarterbacks in the game. And because of timing, he probably deserves to be up there. But then we talk about what the contract really means. He's still playing on his rookie contract for this year, and then that kicks in next year. So essentially, he's getting paid $45 million a year to play football. That makes me feel a little bit more better about the situation as far as just how quarterbacks are getting paid. Because we look at Geno Smith, he's getting, $42 to $45 million a year with the Las Vegas Raiders. And I always said that Geno Smith is just as good as Brock Purdy, in my opinion. You give Geno all the weapons over there with George Kittle, with Brandon Ayuk, with Juwan Jennings, and especially Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, and Shanahan at the quarterback spot. Listen, my man's going to have success as well. So now this makes more sense to me. There's no way his number will be anywhere under 45 because that's pretty much where the slightly above average quarterbacks hang out when it comes to getting paid. So after talking to Eric, after doing research, about $45 million a year, I don't think it's that bad. But he still has to prove that he can be the most relevant guy on this football team. All right, let's get to what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners start their 3-game series with the White Sox today. Pre-game show starts at 3:30. First pitch is at 4:40 on Seattle Sports. Tune in, watch that. Let's get ready for this series sweep. Curtis has predicted it. Matt has predicted as well because he's our baseball expert. Everyone in this building
Baseball insider
Matt Nelson said it's going to be a sweep. So if you
heard it here first,
I mean, why go against greatness when it comes to Matt and predicting what's going on? All right, we got about half an hour left of this show. Going by quick today, Curtis, man. What's going on? Yeah. All right, well, let's get back to baseball. How quickly things can change in the month of May. We're tapping into baseball. That's next.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Live MMA takes over Muckleshoot Event Center Saturday, May 24th. Witness the heart-pounding action as the fiercest fighters step into the cage for an unforgettable night of stunning knockouts, merciless submissions, and pure adrenaline. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at MuckleshootCasino.com.
Muckleshoot. Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Summer is on everyone's mind, and many of us ladies, well, you men too, would like to get rid of that extra stubborn fat and address those areas of loose skin like around the waistline, chin, and upper arms. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without getting the results you were hoping for. Introducing ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. ProSculpt is minimally invasive, performed while you're fully awake, and it's gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate and permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation, and for a limited time, get $250 off. Feel confident this summer with instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening that works for women and men too. ProSculpt.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Spring is here and it's time to make some changes. I have a plan that has helped over 4,000 people in the Seattle-Tacoma area lose up to a pound per day. No surgery, no exercise, no box packaged food, and no drugs or injections with potential side effects. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com and also see our incredible before and after transformations.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here with Ryan Rowland Smith.
Thanks, Mike. I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan, and you lost a ton of weight. So I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds. My only regret is not starting sooner.
Let our proven system help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person at our Kirkland office or remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
How quickly things can change in the month of March. We've seen some ups and downs, man. The Mariners followed up their 1-5 homestand by sweeping one of the best teams in the National League and outscored the Padres 15-3 over the weekends. We were panicking a week ago. Not panicking, but we weren't ignoring some of the flaws that were going down. And now we're feeling a bit better about these Mariners going into this White Sox game that starts, or the series starts today at 4:40. Here's the lineup for you. You got Crawford at shortstop, Polanco DH, and Rodriguez center field. Cal behind the plate, Rosarena left field, Tellez at first base, Taveras right field, 8-9 spot. We got Moore second base and Williamson at third base. I was telling you before the segment started that. I'm looking at this lineup. I go, I like this lineup.
It's not a bad lineup. I mean, considering what the Mariners can put out there in terms of healthy guys, this is about as good as it's going to get for you in terms of 1 through 9. Yeah, I'm glad to see Jorge Polanco back in the lineup against a righty at DH, batting second. Cal Raleigh dropping down to the number 4 spot, so he's your cleanup hitter today. But yeah, I like what the Mariners are putting forth today.
I like it because at the bottom we see a bunch of different names, and I want to highlight a guy who's usually at the bottom when he does play for a defensive play that he made on Sunday. Got me about my seat, Rivas.
Here's Wu's pitch. Swung on, line drive on the dive. Rivas knocks it down. It's in front of him, gets to his feet, fires to first. In time, he got him. Leonardo Rivas, a gold star there. Great play. As it looked like that was going into right field.
Always love those plays where it's like you're fighting against momentum and gravity and G-force. You're just tossing the rock, and that's one of the more exciting plays when it comes to infield. But yeah, you're going to need those names to do their thing. Tavares has had his moments. Obviously, we know Demo and Williamson as well. The guy that I'm looking at during this game is Williamson. Like, can he get back on track? I think we were talking to Ryan last week, and he believes that Williamson is close to being the guy that we saw a few weeks ago.
That'd be nice to see, and you kind of hope that he is using this slow start to maybe just get back up to speed at the major league level. My biggest question mark right now, Bump, and it's one that I think a lot of Mariners fans kind of have with the bottom of the order, and it's the guy that you just spotlighted there making that great play yesterday is Leo Rivas. He got the start at second base, and Rivas has just 2 starts since May 5th. One came on the 14th against the Yankees, which would have been the series finale of that game, and then came yesterday against the Padres. He still has a .441 on-base percentage right now. Yes, he only has 48 at-bats, 59 total plate appearances, but I don't know. Like, why is he not getting more run when in the short amount of time that he has been up, he has been able to be a catalyst in your lineup when he is out there? I mean, a .441 on-base percentage is no joke. Like, that is really, really good.
It's probably because of Demo, right? Because, where does Rivas play? Can he play third?
I'm sure he can play all over the infield.
We saw him play shortstop too a little bit.
Yeah,
it's who do you swap in for him? I think Demo is a big reason for that. And but no, you're right. When a guy's getting on 40% of the time, you want a guy like him out there. So we'll see. We're still trying to figure out the way Dan moves, the way that he thinks when it comes to lineups and situational baseball. So hopefully by midsummer, we have a good idea of, okay, well, why does he play Rivas in this situation? Why is he bunting here? Because we don't really get explanations. And I think our post-game crew, right, our journalists and whatnot, do a great job of interviewing Dan. But I want someone to say this, man, like, what's up? Like, what's your philosophy? Like, give us just 3 bullet points, maybe even 4, of exactly how you want this game to be played.
Yeah, and, I mean, we've talked about it, too, where it feels like Dan Wilson is a much more, I'm going to manage this game based off of feel rather than what the scouting report says. And, there is a place for that for sure in 2025. There's always been a place for that kind of managing style, but again, you kind of wonder, like, at what point does Leo Rivas' numbers need to improve by to put him in the lineup? Maybe not daily, but at least a little more regular than what we've seen. We talked about it with Polanco, where he's been out of the lineup as much as he has this year, and for him to still have the numbers that he does when he is not starting as frequently as I think they would like him to. Again, like, Leo Rivas, kind of being a bit player right now, but when he has been in, has produced significantly. I kind of wonder, like, is that going to be something that we all kind of pull our hair out about over the next couple of weeks as, guys make their way back? But I don't know if he's going to be challenged by anybody else in the system unless they decide to call it Cole Young,
right?
Which could happen soon because Cole Young has been tearing the cover off the ball in AAA. But, I mean, even if they do promote Cole Young soon, why would you demote a guy who's got a .441 on base percentage? And not just that, but also a batting average of .313. It's not like he's just working walks all the time, but he's also, making good contact on the balls he's put in play.
So Rivas is playing some good baseball, and I got to point out, man, Julio's playing some decent ball as well in the month of May. He's got 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. He's slashing .293, .323, .452 OPS, and .775. And the only guy swinging the bat better than him, just when it comes to average at least, is Randy Arozarena in the month of May. You got Dylan and Cal doing their thing as well. So we're seeing some improvement by Julio Rodriguez. Hasn't been striking out at the clip that we're used to seeing. Only 8 strikeouts this month. You got Cal with 15, JP with 15, and Randy with 13. And we can probably look at them and say we felt like they're having a better month than Julio just off of their performance and not looking at the numbers. So it's important that Julio takes advantage of the White Sox. You did mention they have some decent arms they're going to see, obviously, this series. But we're still waiting for that amazing breakout game from Julio. We've seen him do it defensively. We saw him have a moment last series. Bases are loaded. I believe two-run base hit, something like that. He's warming up, just like the weather. He is warming up, and let's hope this continues in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm ready to see this Mariners team build off of that series and the series win against San Diego. And as we talked about to open up the show, Bump, things change so quickly this time of year where it is kind of hard to maybe keep pace with what the Mariners are doing because, as we talked about a lot today, the feeling coming out of that Yankees series was kind of like, are the walls starting to close in on this Mariners team? Are we starting to see them not be able to overcome all these injuries that they've had? Is this kind of where the balloon deflates? And to immediately respond to such a disappointing homestand with probably your best series of the season and the best that you've looked, I think is a big testament to what is going on in that clubhouse right now. And I think it's a team that has a lot of belief in itself, even after a tough series against a really good team in the Yankees. And I don't know, like, you played pro sports, you played at a high collegiate level. The road wins always meant more than the home wins.
Those be hitting.
Right.
Those be hitting.
Right.
The plane ride. There's a confidence that you build in a camaraderie because you're going into hostile territory. I guess football is a bit more hostile because you're only there for one day.
Sure.
With the Mariners, they'll be there for 3 days, but they're gonna feel it, man. And it brings your team together, makes you believe in your philosophy even more because the game travels. It's easier to play at home. I guess not if you're the Mariners because their road record is better than home record, correct?
Right.
Yeah, but when you win on the road, man, it's something special, brings the guys together, and that flight home is always nice. It's always nice, that flight home. And you got guys playing cards. You have beverages being passed around. At least back in my day they did. They probably crack down on it now in current times. But no, road wins are great, and the Mariners have an opportunity to get their first one here today in Chicago, South Side. Let's go get it. All right, one more segment to do when we come back. It's What I Need to Know. Get your questions in. 866-979-3776. Ask us anything. You got 2 dads here. You got an uncle here. You got cousin Matthew over there. Stacy is not here. But we can still, if you want to talk reality TV or something like that, I shall do my best. What I Need to Know next. Get your questions in now. 866-979-3776.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious. They're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. Those 2 games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with xFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up, or when you store. Start with Stable.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
What I need to know, last segment of the day, the podcast, Dad podcast today. We got Curtis Rogers in for Stacy. Get your questions in, 866-979-3776. First one, are you in or out on Axe body spray?
13-year-old me was so far in.
So in, deep in the game.
In. The locker room at Meeker Middle School smelled like 8 different kinds of Axe body spray. It was gross. It was disgusting, but I felt like $1 million wearing it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
As an adult, I could not be more out on it. I work in a professional setting. I can't just coat myself in Axe body spray.
I'm in on only one scent, and it is my backup. I've traveled. I have nothing else. Let me just give me some kind of smell. I couldn't even tell you what it is, honestly. I just know the smell.
Your boys are the prime age for the body spray era. Are they big into Axe?
They're not rocking with it. They want real cologne.
All right.
Real cologne. I'm like, all right, I see you, son. So that's what my mom used to give me cologne every year from the time I was like 15 to my mid-20s.
She get you the Michael Jordan one?
She got me the Jordan. She got me the Usher. You know, remember when everyone was releasing colognes?
Oh, yeah. Everybody has some.
I got all of them. Here we go. What I need to know. Here's for you, Curtis. You got this. Guys, Survivor season finale Wednesday. Can anyone beat Joe? I don't know Joe, so I'm just going to go with whatever Curtis says.
That's a great question. Kyle made the move of the season. I'm not going to give away a ton of spoilers, but he made a big power play move last episode that has really kind of, I think, impressed the jury. I hope that Kyle and Camilla can kind of make it to the finals. They've had a really good underdog story. Joe has been the most dominant player, though, throughout the entire season. Everybody loves the guy. He's a really stand-up dude. I believe he's a firefighter. He lost his sister a few years ago. A really just fascinating guy, and he's going to be tough to beat, but I think Kyle and Camilla made a really big move last episode to kind of put themselves in a good spot.
What he said, because I haven't watched
Wednesday season finale.
Let's go. Wednesday.
Make sure you're tuning in.
Tune in. What I need to know, Bump, if you could play one game at your peak from the Cougs or the Seahawks, what one would you choose? Now, here's the thing about the Cougs. 3-1 in the Apple Cup. Here's another thing about the Cougs. When I was playing, we were not getting paid. So naturally, I'm going to go towards the Seahawks because in my contract, I got paid an extra X amount of dollars for every snap I took. I would literally be in the game doing math like, that's 25 snaps. Your boy's check going to be looking good this one. So I would go Seahawks because I could help the team win. We weren't very good. And I actually get paid for doing that.
Right. And then, you were a practice squad guy. If you had a good game up on the 53-man roster, you're going to be back on the 53-man roster.
Exactly.
You're going to get that nice game check.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Cougs. I love you. We're 3-1 Apple Cup. Just did 3 events for you this weekend, but I'm going with the Seahawks. Here's one for Curtis. What I need to know, if you had to hazard a guess, what sport would Willa eventually be best later in life?
She just has not really taken to sports yet, and I don't know if she will, and I'm not going to push her towards it.
Brenna played what, softball, right?
She played lacrosse.
Yeah.
We have not introduced Willa to that. She does have a glove that we do kind of toss the ball around with. We're still working on opening and closing her glove to catch, but I don't know if softball is going to be the sport. I'm just going to let her choose.
Yeah.
I'm not going to force a sport on her and be like, oh, well, you got to play it, because I played that as a kid. No.
Why don't you just put different, like football, baseball, soccer, just put it in her toy chest and just see what she picks up.
We do play what she likes to call football, where she has a little toy football, and then she stands by the front door, and I stand at the end of the hallway, and it's basically like an Oklahoma drill.
Yeah, okay. Which is banned, by the way.
Right. No one's actually getting hurt in this, but I pick her up and then, pretend to tackle her to the ground. It's great. It's great fun. It's great fun.
She's going to run through you one day.
Probably, yeah.
What I need to know, what's your go-to fast food when you're on the road? it's burgers and fries. If I'm in Cali, I'm going In-N-Out. If I'm in Arizona, I'm going In-N-Out. Oregon has one too, I believe. Like In-N-Out is my go-to, even though I know a lot of people hate on In-N-Out up here, but I just grew up on it. So when I have a chance, grab some In-N-Out.
Never frozen. Never frozen patties.
Never frozen, like Wendy's, right?
Yeah.
Wendy's never frozen. What's yours?
I mean, if In-N-Out were closer, that would be the answer.
Yeah.
My go-to fast food, I really like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Their waffle fries are incredible. Yeah, I think that's my answer.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A. I'm mad at that. What I need to know. What is a production-specific thing you notice when listening to the radio more now that you are in the business? Are you way more critical? Yes. For me, as the analyst or the host of a show, when a host isn't like getting everyone involved, especially on like the bigger shows, like we do Seahawk Pre and Post and all that stuff. When you have like 3 or 4 people on the panel, as a host, you got to get people involved. So I'm listening or watching, I go, why hasn't Bobby's dad spoken yet? Get it to Bobby's dad. So that's I noticed that.
To that point, especially when it's like a nationally broadcasted game, a national broadcast of a local team here in town, so like Friday Night Baseball or Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, I can tell when an analyst has either put in the work
or not put in the work.
Yeah. You can tell by the way they talk about a team. If they have not put in the homework, if they have not even gone to the production meeting, you can hear it based on how they talk about the team.
Yeah. I no names. We've had people on the show before.
Oh yeah.
We're interviewing them.
It's like, I don't think this person's ever watched.
So what good hosts do though is that you just set them up for success now,
right?
Because we're not trying to embarrass nobody,
right.
But we can tell we ain't been studying, dog. Make sure you study, man. That's the worst feeling in the world. What I need to know, Bum, what local hacker course would give the pros a real challenge? It gives me a challenge all the time. Absolutely love this course and hate it at the same time. Harbor Point and Mukilteo. I hate you. I love you. I'll give you my money for the rest of my life. But that course, I cannot stand. What I need to know. Currently moving. Scale of 1 to 10. How bad does moving suck?
10.
10.
I hate it.
10.5, 11.5.
I would, yeah.
It's the worst thing in the world.
Moving is awful. And moving with kids is even worse. Ooh. It's brutal.
Ooh.
Especially because, like, your kids develop an attachment to the place that you're currently in.
Yep.
Whether it's a not very good place or it's a good place. And so for them to have to say goodbye and, like, never come back there. We moved when Willa, who is now 4, she turned 4 last week. We moved when she was just over 1 year old. And even then, she had a really tough time saying goodbye to our old place and then moving into our current place. Blair, she's going to turn 2 next month. She's never moved at all in her life. So I don't know how she'll handle it. She seems to handle big change a little bit better than her big sister.
What is this place?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
And then it takes like a couple weeks for them to get comfortable.
Not sleeping in your bed or scared. Moving is the worst. Awful. But you know what wasn't the worst? Doing a show with my guy Curtis Rogers, the Dad Podcast is real. It'll be up an hour after our show. But coming up next, you got Wyman and Bob. That's X on Seattle Sports.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
For some people that are just committed to being mad at the team or they stink, you just wait. You know, they're desperate to be right about them not being good. So this was their first chance to go, see? Yeah, there's the real team. I'm like, so the real team is the one we saw in these 3 games and not the previous 9 series.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
The first Mariners fireworks night is coming up, and we're starting things off with a bang. Be here on Friday, May 30th for our K-Pop fireworks show, presented by T-Mobile, after the team takes on the Twins at 7:10.
Jorge Polanco, his second home run of the night. He is absolutely on fire.
Get ready for an epic dance party as we light up the sky with a post-game show powered by the biggest global hits, fireworks, and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
JP with a flip, and they got him at first base. How
Visit mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and see the complete lineup of all 6 Mariners fireworks nights this summer, including a sing-along show on June 13th and a patriotic palooza on July 3rd. Plus, check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park, like 3 straight Mariners value games against the Orioles starting Tuesday, June 3rd. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This Memorial Day, turn up the heat with the Home Depot. Find the perfect grill and patio set to keep the cookouts coming all season long. Grill up a feast with the Next Grill 4-burner gas grill, only $229. And complete your space with the stylish Glen Ridge Falls 7-piece dining set, now on special buy for just $499 with free delivery. Take your Memorial Day cookout to the next level all summer long with the Home Depot. See homedepot.com/delivery for more details.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Why would we trade our best player?
Well, at least you got to watch him in person when he was here.
I named my only son after him.
So you'll always remember his name.
Yeah, but what do I do with this jersey?
Luckily, the company has a great return policy.
I wore it for 6 seasons.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
It's time to make your yard the best on the block with Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot. Start by keeping the weeds at bay with Earthgrow Mulch, now 4 for $10. Then keep your garden thriving with Miracle Grow Garden Soil, now on special buy, 4 for $10. Give your neighbors yard envy all summer long with Memorial Day savings going on now at the Home Depot.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May